All right. So where we starting this week? We talking how where do you want to go? You want to go
Where do I
Everyone
want
Hates
to go?
Velma for the first time ever? You want to
Oh, fucking
go Morty
who
Morty
even
caught a
cares?
domestic? You want to go Morty caught a domestic? What do you want to do? Where do you
Oh,
want to
boy.
go?
Okay, all I want to say about Rick and Morty is that I am like deeply satisfied that the instant Justin Roiland got arrested for all sorts of domestic
Yeah.
bullshit,
Yeah.
every single person's brain invented the exact same gag.
Yeah. Yeah. It writes
Slight
itself.
variation.
Aw, jeez.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Oh jeez, Rick. Oh,
Mm.
oh no, we're in it now.
Oh boy. Yeah. And then you run with it. Yeah. No. Like, the fucking there's a lot of places to go, but fine.
Oh
There's
geez, we're in the mine was we're in the soup this time. It's like, yeah,
mm-hmm,
okay.
mm-hmm. I still actually uh God I didn't realize because I remember I stopped during I think I saw the second season and then
Hmm.
like it was done and then that's all there was for a time and then
Yeah.
when they announced more was happening I caught some on random American TV when I was like down there but um it was only when like hearing about this that I saw that it's like actually they ordered 80 episodes or like they ordered 10 seasons in one shot
Are you
like
serious?
some crazy deal was made where they ordered something like almost 10 seasons of the show in one shot when it came
Shouldn't do that.
back. That was it was
That's
the wildest deal I've heard. I'm like,
that's
no
silly.
wonder there's so much of this thing. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
watched Rick and Morty for a couple seasons, and then I was like, I really like this show. And then the moment of truth was the Szechuan sauce,
Mm-hmm.
in which it became, I can't tell anyone I watched this fucking show anymore.
Yeah, the IRL, right? But
Which led to me no longer wanting to watch the show at all
yeah, I
because I
still
couldn't flex how much smarter I was for watching the show.
I it's one of those bits where I'm like, I'm probably at some point just gonna go and see wherever it went. But I feel like that's we've talked about the victims of like the like IRL uh effect just making the original thing feel extremely undesirable, you know?
Intolerable.
Intolerant, yep.
It's like,
And
let's say, for example, you're a fan of Naruto and you're like, man, those Akatsuki guys are pretty cool.
yeah.
That seems like a cool coat. And then you go to Anime Con and you're like, I never want to see that fucking coat ever again in my goddamn life.
Right. It's just, and it's not. It's not fair in most cases to the original like source because they didn't. They just created the beast, but like they are not the beast in a way. And a lot of the
Yeah,
time it'll be
okay.
like a lot of the time it'll be like you can appreciate and consume it separate from whatever that fan base has become, and I don't know, man, but all I know is like even the mention of hey, the other day there was a Fate game coming out, and
Hmm.
like the guns were cocked. We're just
Hmm.
like here we fucking go again. It's like man, I was just announcing a game's coming out. But yeah, it is Fate is in that category. There's the everything from Toby Fox, there's the My Little Ponies of the world,
Man,
there's
I'm in
the
that weird place with Fate now in which my actual, like, I'm like, when I think of Fate, I'm like, I liked that meme video where the Grinch tries to ruin Christmas and Fortnite dances and then the Doomslayer kills him.
I liked that Sakuga where um uh what's her face in her dark mode
Good
does
at
the big
good at
sword slash on Berserker and
And
it
Little
gets him.
Nas and Katy Perry are singing over it.
That's the one.
I
That's the
saw
one.
that.
Yeah.
That's a good remix of that song.
There you go. No, no. It's just it's like seems to be a climactic moment from one of the shows, and it was just like a big attack with like big animation behind. It was like, okay, yeah, that'll
Actually, no.
that's a thing. Sure.
My brain is a neuron is knitting back together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm now like, you know what Fate fans are right about?
Mm-hmm.
Artoria is the correct way to say that character's name.
Altria.
All that other Altria shit, it's like the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Holy fuck.
Fate is probably it's probably a franchise where it's like, okay, so Fate fans hate us, but maybe they hate the creator of Fate more because of that Altria shit. It might be. I don't know.
It's so bad.
That's fantastic. And then whatever the fuck that video was with, like, the deity of the world opening up her legs, and I don't know, that shit was there was something popping on. It was slop streaming time. So, anyways, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I do want to say one thing about the Velma show.
Okay.
Only the one thing. Which is HBO announced it's the biggest new fucking whatever thing for a new animated thing in HBO history or whatever, and I'm just like, you just canceled like every other cartoon on your service. Of course it is.
Yeah. They fucking sloshed everything off the table and put one thing down, and we're like, it's the biggest animated series on the entire platform.
Don't hate watch it. Don't hate watch it. You're giving them blah blah blah, and it's like, hate watching is such a minuscule amount of total viewer interest. Like, you can't.
I mean, it's. I think there was like, whatever, everyone's talking about that, and there was a tweet where it's just like, yo, where did all these sudden overnight Scooby-Doo fans come from? And it's like, if you were born in North America in the last 20 years, you're kind of born by default with a Scooby-Doo like badge in your stats.
Popular things I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. No, but I mean, from it being around in the background to people actively caring about it, I guess.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not that there's an army of Scooby-Doo stans. Yeah. It's the fact that everyone kind of likes Scooby-Doo
it's
the
default.
background.
It's default. It's absolutely. Who doesn't
like Scooby-Doo? They're driving around, they're solving mysteries, the dog can talk.
It's great. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Anyway, I do think that like, whenever there's a thing, like when there's a property where they go, hey, someone has an idea to work on this thing, and it's kind of like, all right, like, go nuts, do what you want with it, that is a huge creative gamble, and it can work out, but you have to have carte blanche to someone that you like, that has like a track record that you can really like fucking go with. You know what I mean? Like, if you were to if Guillermo del Toro was like, hey, I'm really interested in the franchise you own, I have a really great idea for it, will you give me like freedom to work on it? Like, you'd be like, fuck yeah. I don't even want to see, I'm not even gonna give you notes on this, just go. Like, you're gonna go with that, but in this case, it does feel like someone got that carte blanche and didn't necessarily have the trusted state of like.
I don't think that's what happened at all.
Because it feels like, I guess Mindy Kaling and whoever else was involved with it creatively just went like, it feels like they got a note saying, go crazy, go nuts,
I feel that is the total opposite thing that happened. From what I have seen of it, I get the overwhelming impression that Mindy Kaling walked in with a pitch for her show, and they said no, unless it's part of an established property. To which the question came back, what do you got? And we got this.
That's an interesting theory.
That's the I don't know knowledge, maybe, but I'm getting that vibe because the Scooby-Doo parts of it seem like an annoyance, like a mandatory box check.
Because nowadays,
an original show that couldn't get greenlit.
because original animations are rarer and rarer. There was an era where they were popping off, and that like kind of faded away, and we came out of the you know the Adventure Time Steven Universe kind of world into one where it's like, okay, Bee and Puppy Cat does exist. It's been a decade, but it did sort of come out. But then things like I guess like F for Family and Big Mouth like were unexpectedly successful for new animations. So then
I don't think Big
like,
Mouth is actually successful. I think just one of the people running it is rich.
I mean, it's around. You've been.
I believe the creator of the show's dad is like a billionaire.
So Nick Kroll, one of the guys from the league, it was also like, yeah, he's born from a crazy rich family or whatever. But I mean, for whatever it's worth, the show has been pushed aggressively on Netflix for the last fucking 5 years or whatever it's been. So that thing
I've seen of Big Mouth has repelled me from my TV screen.
I don't know that Nick Kroll's personal family bankroll is keeping that show in the public eye, but whatever. But I would say though that there's been a fuck ton of shows that also came out on streaming platforms over the last couple of years that have been original things that just like barely one season and dead, we
are seeing the absolute worst. So you remember when cable broke up and streaming started, and then people made the charts of like cable will just turn into streaming and had the breakdowns and all that stuff, like, oh, you got to go here to watch Disney, you got to go to HBO to watch Last of Us, you got to go to Netflix to watch this. But that has happened, and I think that was really obvious. And it's just going to push everyone to piracy, so it's not the end of the world. It's just a reset.
Yeah, they're doing what they do. They're recreating the fucking cable network problem online, and then it's going to just they can't help themselves because.
So here's the thing, though. There's obviously a new problem, and the new problem was put forth by Netflix and is now being expanded upon by HBO. So Netflix has always been about getting new people into Netflix. Right? They're always talking about acquiring new viewers, right? And the only time they talk about retaining viewers is by saying, well, we're going to stop password sharing because then all those people will buy their Netflix accounts, which everybody knows is not true, right? But it's always about getting new people. And Netflix has created the worst TV situation ever, in which they will bankroll like Wednesday, right? Be like, hey, everybody, who loves the Addams Family? We're going to get Tim Burton to direct a fucking Addams Family series, and it's going to have Luis Guzman and Ortega, and it's going to all these people, and everybody's going to love it. And people went crazy for it. And then they go, now that you all joined up, cancel that shit. You're already here now. You'll never leave. And like every fucking 2 weeks, there's like, this show got canceled, this show got canceled, this show got canceled, this show got canceled. And then HBO decides to get on in because they don't have new shows to cancel. They go back and like, what if we just killed shit that's like 60 years old for like $40 in taxes?
It feels like, I mean, the cancellation spree at Netflix as well. I think that was response to them bleeding money for a couple quarters there or whatever, back when they first were like, they announced their first loss and stuff. I want to say too that like a lot of that there was a point in which more like Netflix was greenlighting everything way more than any other studio was, and it was kind of like, oh yeah, just take your project there, they've got infinite money to push it, and I think they're probably like correcting after the line go down, so we can't just greenlight everything coming through the office anymore. So then they're kind of like starting to curb it back to what other places usually do, which is turn down a fuck ton of shit.
I need to clarify something. I used Wednesday as an example. Wednesday, in fact, did get renewed for a second season. However, I'm telling you right now, it takes a miracle for a Netflix TV show to make it to season 3. For whatever reason, almost all of them get canceled after season 2. And I think it's because they don't see the new subscriber numbers come in on the release of the second season.
I mean, like, there's that. There's the ones where it's just like even if the people behind it have like, you know, whatever like size, strength, or force to keep it going. Look at the fucking Defenders universe, right? Like the entire, like, you can't. You look at that and like they artificially kept that shit floating for a long time. Season 1 of a couple of those shows was all right. Season
Not Iron Fist.
I mean, well, that's it. Like it, you know, Daredevil, hey, cool. Jessica Jones, all right, sure. Luke Cage, okay, I guess, you know. And then Iron Fist, and the Punisher, right? And then you know, season 2s start rolling out, and it's like, oh, okay, ooh, some of these season 2s are real. And then by the, like, it's this whole thing that Marvel is like, no, but we're creating a Defender verse, a Netflix verse. And yeah, eventually, like, that Netflix is like, fuck, like, no, we got, like, no one cares. This is done. You can't keep that going.
Just have Charlie Cox fucking make out with She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And CG kisses.
Yep.
And then it'll be good.
I'm down.
Have you seen what happened to Charlie Cox?
I want to say,
The Man?
No.
So Charlie Cox, I think he did a really great job acting as Daredevil, as Matt Murdock. I think he did an absolutely excellent job. But he has talked in interviews that that role fucked his ability to act up really bad. He has a lot of trouble getting new roles. And in the roles that he does get, aside from Matt Murdock, you watch him act, he can't turn off blind face.
Eye contact?
No. He makes eye contact through people. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He was in some movie relatively recently, and I saw a couple clips of it. He is absolutely blind facing through people in the scene, and he looks blind as shit.
Wow.
And
that's
he can't
interesting.
Not do it anymore because he did it for so many scenes in fucking Daredevil,
and did a great job of it too, you know.
Yeah.
So no, that I mean, I was gonna say that like Daredevil is the one that got the most decent seasons out of that collection, but that's
got 2 good seasons.
What was the
3?
What was the third one again? I'm trying to remember.
The third one was the Defenders team up with Sigourney Weaver.
No, wasn't that? No, that was
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney
Excuse
Weaver.
me.
No, shut up, Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver. Yeah.
No. The Defenders was its own show.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought the third one was...
No. Defenders was absolutely its own show.
No, the third one was Bullseye. You're right.
Bullseye.
You're right.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Yeah. In any case,
sorry, Sigourney Weaver. You're a good actor, and you've done many movies. I'm sorry, I forgot your name was not a penis.
Terrible. That's embarrassing.
I'm a little embarrassed. What are you gonna do?
Okay.
Oops.
All right, I got some stuff.
Yeah, what do you got?
All right, I'll talk about some stuff.
Tell me something.
Well, first off, I'm just going to reiterate something you brought up 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yes, you mentioned the miracle of Pakistani Tekken.
Yes, the
Corey Gaming.
Corey Gaming video.
I just want to reiterate how fantastic that video is, and that if you guys are interested in that subject at all, you should watch it because it's super fucking fascinating to find out. You know, the short version of this essentially is that out of nowhere, Arslan Ash, a Pakistani Tekken player, showed up at EVO and just started bodying everyone, the greatest players, including like Korean legends that have been on top of Tekken for years, and everyone went, who the fuck is this kid, and how did he get so good?
And on
in
top
what
of that,
community?
the guys he showed up with were also killers.
And
all unknown.
When they asked him, well, no, there was the first couple times he traveled alone, but when they asked him, where the fuck did you come from, and how are you this good? And he's like, man, where I come from, I'm not even the best. Like, you know, and that made everyone go, what? You know, it was one of those, like, it's like one of those moments of like, there's a planet of Saiyans And you're who? Which one are you? You're Raditz? What? You know? So it was
From planet Pakistan.
It was a super fucking interesting story. And so Corey Gaming, Gerald, went out there and basically decided to put together, you know, a little short documentary on, as he, you know, he does like great videos on fighting game stuff. And that video is just an excellent like look into what this secret scene is and how you become so good, cut off from most of the international fighting game community, you know?
And it's funny because in that video, it's discovered what the secret is. What is the secret? The secret is the bizarre nature of the way you pay for arcade games in Pakistan.
So cool. So the way they have to, so first off, there's a ton of power outages throughout the day, and they can't get arcade machines. They can't get anything resembling a normal arcade kind of culture going. So what they have to do is first of all, they have to get their hands on PS5s however they can. In many cases, games are not illegal, but the fees on importing are so impossibly ridiculous that like it's for the elites of the elites only. You might as well just never think about it. But if you're coming back from Mecca, right? If you take the pilgrimage, you can bring back gifts, and gifts are gifts. So
it's supposed to, the way it was phrased is like, when you go to Mecca, you're supposed to bring back gifts for the family and the friends.
Yes. So people do that, and they bring back consoles, and then what they're able to do is create kind of like homebrew arcade setups, which we did at one of the local arcades here in Montreal, actually. But they take it a step further. One, they have a generator ready to go that flips on the moment power goes off multiple times a day, so that they can play and continue playing in the dark. So they're hardcore about it. They've also got like a corner for the lowest latency monitors possible for people that are really fucking in there that want to just have that absolutely perfect experience with it. They've taken all that seriously, right? But the way you'd play in the arcades usually is you'd pop in a quarter to get your game going, or 50 cents,
or whatever the fuck it is now,
100 yen coin. And in this case, they're like, well, how do we emulate that? How
they're
about
not
this?
arcade machines, right? They're just consoles set up to in arcade, jury rigged setups.
You sit down, you play a set with somebody, and you
first to 5, first to 10,
whatever the set is. You record your losses, and you report them to the cashier and pay per loss. It's crazy.
It is like. Because in the West or out East, when you're nickel and diming people, literally, right? And you go, 1, oh, I lost, I'll rotate back around. 1, I lost, I'll rotate back around, because people are standing there, right? But the ability to go like first to 10 with somebody, and you go 0-10, here's your lunch money.
That's it.
You didn't think the guy was that strong, so now you don't get to eat dinner because you fucked it up.
It's crazy. And if you're a god, you're playing free. The incentive has never been higher to come out of this pressure cooker and fucking thrive, because you're reporting every L you take. It has a cost on you. It affects you in your life, man. It's almost like fucking hearing about how it reminds me of like the insanity that was hey, how do you get the best snipers in the world? You withhold meals until they hit a bullseye, right? Like the wartime training that was like super unethical, crazy shit, and things like that, where you're just like,
I was under the impression the modern version of that is, do you want the best snipers in the world? You get the guys from the Royal Canadian Army to teach you. In the current day, that is the situation.
Right. Okay. I know there's that. There's a couple of I forgot the guy's name, but there's one dude that's like a amazing Canadian whatever real life thing. But no, all this to say, there's just like over. I remember hearing about how like there have been experiments, or not even experiments, but just like super fucking unethical things where like prisoners were like. Prisoner soldiers were like, and such like that, were like trained on like hunger you know, to improve and shit like that. And like, yeah, they all got really good really quickly because guess what? You're not gonna fucking go hungry if you have a chance.
I want to see a 4-frame super, or else I'm gonna flash kick your mom.
Right? Like thrive or perish, absolutely. So all this to say, whatever, side fucking analogy aside, like the environment they're in is this insane hyperbolic time chamber where if you're a really good player, your incentive is to walk in, sit down, stay on a station all night and not pay a dime, you know? And if you're trying to get good, you're getting your ass beat. You're going to get up and go somewhere else, but you're going to try to get some time in, you know? And like everyone there is just raised in this like fucking dog eat dog, you know, survival environment. It's wild. It's a distilled version of putting your quarter in every time, except like the cumulative effect is like you take all that damage on cash out as opposed to 1 quarter at a time until you're like, all right, I'm out of quarters, you know? You'll sit down, you'll do those 10 games, you'll get up 0 and 10 and be like, fuck me, my week is ruined, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't go into it exactly, but the fact that the payouts work on the honor system must de facto create a sense of community, because guys who get up and just leave, like just like fuck it, like they will be shunned. Well, right? Like the whole system works because we're all telling the truth and writing it down, man.
Furthermore, right, when the guy who won gets up and hands his card in and it says 10 dubs, like, well, someone, like, there's 2 points of information here. Like, clearly your lie's not really going to cover you that far if the other player has to report theirs as well. You know, in tournaments, there often is like just a unwritten thing where like the loser will get up and like, or in some cases one person will go report the win or the loss and not necessarily both, but you know, in bigger majors they kind of are like, no, we need both to report in and make sure, because people just fucking lie sometimes, you know. But like as you said,
I just thought of it, no controller or stick throwing or smashing when the culture is like we're taking apart 10-year-old Xboxes for spare parts and to get this shit running.
Getting it running, absolutely. And like you're seeing the wildest hybrid sticks. I remember seeing some of the Korean like crown parts in there and stuff, and it was like, yeah, no, this is gonna be a sense of community, because if you're someone who punches a stick on your loss, you're gone forever.
Congrats, you just ruined the setup that took like 10 different like parts from 15 different things, and you ruined it for everyone here.
100 people now are mad at you.
Get out forever.
Yeah. So it was kind of incredible, and you know, and there's this great part in it where he's like, you know, because the video is called "The Miracle of Pakistani Tekken," and or should I say Pakistani Tekken? But the guy at the that runs the shop is kind of like, yeah, it really kind of is that, you know. And Gerald's like, well, I thought that was a bit of a stretch of a term, you know. Miracle is a very like big word, until I went to downtown, and he goes to like the equivalent of Times Square, and there's this giant billboard with Arslan Ash on it, holding a phone up, like,
a new cell phone plan?
And you're like, oh shit, it's that level. Like, he's a celebrity, you know? So yeah, I just wanted to recommend that. Fucking fantastic little, you know, international story there. And it really does kind of explain something that, you know, there's interviews and stuff, but like going and seeing how it's created is fucking amazing, man. Damn cool. And like, and it's also that little like, you know, that spark of just like under pressure, diamonds are created, man. You know,
yeah,
that's it. And then you go, cool. We're pretty good. Someone like help me. Let's get together, get on a flight, and see how this is gonna go. And it's like, oh, he fucking won Evo. Oh shit. Like, wait, what? What's happening over there? You know, and then like Knee and JDCR and all these Tekken players are like, time to book a flight to fucking Pakistan, you know, like time to just go figure that out. And they're having trouble traveling as well because visas are an issue, and
the world is in a dramatic flux for international travel at the moment, as you could probably expect. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, the miracle of Pakistan has coincided with like travel difficulties for these guys. It
Yeah.
sucks.
It reminds me of some of the really strong players that are like that were unable to go to American tournaments with us back in the day, you know? And it was just like, fuck, like these guys are really good, but they can't afford it, you know?
Hmm.
And sometimes we'd like get a collection together and help pay for someone's transportation to go somewhere if we believe, you know. But like there was a lot of great players that are just like, yeah, dude, I can't, I gotta work, I got no money for a hotel room, that's it, you know. Anyways, so shout outs
Yeah,
to that.
being able to travel to a different country in order to lose is a luxury most people don't have.
Right, right, exactly. um but I'll tell you what happens immediately after you travel internationally and you get booted out in pools. The fire for the money matches starts immediately.
Well, I gotta
You
make it back.
are burning with like, okay, yo, who wants to run some sets? Yo, let's like in the middle of the fucking bracket. You're like, hey, yo, like the TOs are gonna be kicking you off because there's gonna be cash on top of the TV every time. You like, there's no hesitation. Usually, there's like oh, maybe we'll wait till later on tonight. Fuck that. I'm sitting down and I'm running money matches. Go. Yeah, yeah. Incredible stuff. Anyways, so that's fantastic.
If only my brain just had a whole conversation with myself in between two of your sentences, or I'm like, man, it'd be really cool if you could have like a money match tournament, like online across. Never mind, actually. You know what? You know what? In person for money matches is best.
Hey, for what it's worth, Matcherino's been doing pretty good by everyone that got fucked over there.
I totally believe that.
They've stepped in.
That's not sarcasm.
They've
It's
stepped
genuine.
in. They've paid of their own. You know, they've righted the wrongs in a lot of cases. They've paid out of their own pocket for all the shit he did, and excuse me, and
Bless you.
they even went a step further and were like, essentially, yeah, they're gonna pay out. They'll handle whatever with Arturo later, and then there's the other side of it where they're like, and if you're somebody who was an organizer that was going
Mhm.
through art, they're just like, contact us directly. We'll promote you to the
Yeah.
affiliate level, essentially, that is like, so we can work with you directly on all your shit. So you shouldn't have any disruptions in whatever tournaments you guys regularly run. So they
It would
went
be really nice if
really hard.
like this continued, like the Matcherino specific good behavior continued, because like over the years, I'm sure you've seen it as well. Smash tournaments, like older games, like KOF tournaments being run through Discord, and like, yeah, I won. He won't pay up. He says the win was bullshit, and then those guys just disappear.
Right, right, right.
And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're definitely in the era, especially of like online brackets and shit. Like, some people made infamous names for themselves where it's like, okay, there are online warriors who, if you see their name pop up in your bracket, just deny it immediately. Just don't even bother, you know.
or screen record the whole match.
There's that. There is that. Anyway, so yeah, there's core A. I popped back up on Hades.
Oh, okay.
Took a look at
So
that.
what did you end up doing after all?
I just did a couple runs. I loaded up. So I took a look. I went
What
to.
I mean is you just kept it rolling.
So yeah, I took a crack at. I loaded up my save to see where I was and to see, you know, like what had been done or so. And yeah, I think it was like 47 hours or something. You know,
That's a lot to have put into that version of the game.
I mean, I
Dude,
wasn't.
hold on, let me load up Steam. I think I'm at like 100, but that was like
Okay.
1.0.
I wasn't exaggerating. I really loved that game. For during early access, I went super hard. And yeah, I think I kind of. So I did a few runs, and it is interesting because like I'm like, okay, there's a bunch of stuff that I remember, like so I remember when the room additions, the renovations like character wasn't there,
Yeah.
and like that added a whole bunch of stuff to spend money on. I remember when they added well, I remember when like Karen's art wasn't there. They added Karen and stuff like that. So I'm going back and I'm like, right, all this stuff got
Yeah, there
added,
were a
and all these
lot of characters that were just floating
placeholder art and
figures.
such. Even Orpheus and uh, his muse
Eurydice.
yes, right. That was a whole bit that was like, again, just not present for a while. But looking back on it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see that I got relationship, like I gave nectar to just about everybody, in some cases twice, in a bunch of cases twice over, and my mirror of night is almost entirely maxed out. And the stuff that came later, like the iterations of weapons, I didn't have the doubles for, because the currency, like diamonds didn't exist, or like the Titan blood stuff at the time, I think didn't exist either. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but
I can't fucking remember.
But either way, I remember like there was only one version of weapons, right, for a point, and then there was an update.
And now there are 4.
Yeah, so I realized when I'm like, okay, so yeah, there's a bunch of the versions I don't have, but so what I'm kind of curious about now as I'm going through it is like, well, the way this is going, like especially if you guys are have been mentioning like, oh yeah, like 6-5 runs and then you beat it, no problem, and I'm like, it doesn't feel like that's the way rewards are working. So I'm like, maybe like so I think the patches are introducing new features in, but I'm not sure if it's like the same version of the game flow, essentially,
So I can't speak to that, because you're doing a strange thing. Like a lot of the people who ran that game early access, like ran it throughout its early access up until 1.0. You went from like 0.6 or 0.7 to final release. I definitely know diamonds did not exist. Like, you're not crazy when you say that.
And I do remember,
but diamonds have been associated with just like extras or
right,
feature unlocks instead of power.
I mean, the version I was playing too was one where Meg was the only of the sisters that existed.
Yeah.
Right. They did not have the other two yet at all.
And you never encountered heat prior to this, right?
No. So I looked back and I actually saw I did start a new save just to like see if there was anything different at the beginning. And that was after, again, a major patch. But I think I wanted to do a couple runs to see like how it felt with that old save, and then I think it's basically just going to come down to like, okay, if there is a difference between that and like a new 1.0 save, then start a new save, right? If not, then like I can try to continue and keep all the updates and upgrades I've had and stuff, but just based on the way the runs go, and I guess maybe the way the difficulty feels, and the description I'm getting from everybody, it seems as if it's probably going to be drastically rebalanced, starting a new save compared to what I'm on.
Let me think about this. So there's pros and minuses, right? The minus is you don't want to lose the stuff that you've unlocked, right? Like that doesn't, like nobody likes that. And there was a historical benefit to the way you were doing it, because there's dialogue that no longer exists that would happen on every patch. Like when Theseus and the Minotaur got added, there was dialogue going, hey, I heard that Elysium is now available. And there was like a bunch of dialogue between you and Theseus and them to acknowledge that they were brand new to the build, which is now gone because that doesn't make any fucking sense. In terms of so let me ask you, you said your darkness mirror is almost finished, right? Like maybe what, 80%?
I have 3 stats on the list that are incomplete, but it's pretty, there's a lot of
what about the green darkness mirror?
Not the alt purple into yellow.
Yeah, okay. So the alt mirror, what happened was is they used to take you forever to foil up the mirror, and then they added all the alternates, and now it takes you forever to fill both. But if you figure out, oh, I want this one, I want the one where I do
pick your
back attack
preferences.
damage instead of the full health one, you just pick that.
Yeah, or spend
right?
keys to cash out and re.
So that is overall sped
Respect.
up. The main thing, and since you didn't beat the final boss, you didn't, right?
No,
Since
yeah,
you
you're
didn't,
correct,
your progression is way less fucked up than it could be. Because all the materials all the blood and diamonds and shit that you would unlock for weapon upgrades and state upgrades, those are all post beating the boss the first time.
Right. Though something I realized right off the bat was my progression is still probably fucked though, because again, it was a test to see. I'm like, let's see what the restart situation would look like. Something that happened, for example, was I did a bunch of runs when I came back to it last time as well, and I never got a diamond, right? And I was like, well, these diamonds are a new currency. Let me go see what the deal is. And like, I remember seeing like, oh, you can trade them in, but they're pretty expensive. You got to spend 10 nectars, right? And then what did I do? I took a weapon out last time that I never usually used, and I got to like whatever, like the Hydra or something with it, and then beating the Hydra with it gave me a diamond. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Was I supposed to be getting them with a bunch of different things that I've already cleared? Because the achievement list that would have rewarded that, if I've already cleared it on a previous version, that reward might not necessarily pop.
Okay, so yeah, anymore. Your achievement list, your prophecy list, your minor prophecy list, that thing is assuredly all fucked up.
Yeah.
I will say, however, I'll explain the way you achieve these currencies, because they're like most of the game. Once you beat Hades the first time, you unlocked what's called the Pact of Punishment. And what the Pact of Punishment does, see, normally if you beat it with the sword, you would earn 1 blood from the first boss, 1 diamond from the Hydra, 1 ambrosia from Theseus and the Minotaur, and another Titan blood from Hades. And you could do that on the sword, you could do that on the spear, you could do that on the gun, etc. And each one. However, that kicks you out at a maximum of 10 blood, 5 diamonds, 5 ambrosia, and 5 right? Once you beat Hades, it goes, okay, clearly the base game is too easy for you because you did it, right? You will then be offered a exhaustive list of modifiers. So making it so the traps are more damaging, or that you only have 9 minutes per region, adds 1 heat. And by adding 1 heat to, say, the sword, you now reset all the rewards.
Okay.
And you can go through it again. Once you add 2 heat, you reset all the rewards. And that's where the all the blood, all the diamonds.
Yeah.
Since you didn't unlock that system,
yes,
you're safe from having fucked it up.
But a lot of rewards that would have been given to me by this point have not been, as a result of them not existing, right? Because I've cleared the reward point. Like there's only 1 weapon that I didn't beat the Hydra with at that point, and that's why I got the diamond. But the others, I had already done it, but exactly, right? So
the other thing is that there's a lot of dialogue that was like not necessarily in 1.0, but since you left it, there's a lot of dialogue and story stuff that is before where you are now for characters that were mostly unfinished
at the time. Okay. I did. So new characters. So for example, when Nyx got added, like there was,
I fucking forgot.
Nyx was not there. Yeah. Oh no, dude.
Dude, she talks to you like the most of any character in the entire game.
Yes. And when she showed up, I remember it didn't treat it as if it were like you were in the middle of this progress point, and then she just is like starting in the middle. She showed up and you start talking to her, and it worked in that our conversation started at the beginning, right? Same thing for Tisiphone and Orpheus and such. So it did feel as if these new characters showing up didn't like you didn't. I don't feel like I missed out because it feels like we're having like a normal conversation going forward. But just from a numbers perspective on the rewards and shit, like yeah, it feels as if like I should have been able to do a lot more of those expensive like expansions of the areas and shit. I should have been able to get like weapon variations and stuff at this point that I don't have, and so that's where I'm kind of like, okay,
you would have
because it's
been
gonna
able
be
to
a
use
grind.
Titan Blood to unlock new variants.
At this point, I'm like, the only way to get that diamond is like to just grind until I get 10, nectars, and then go trade them in, and
beat Hades and then unlock the heat system.
But at the same time, too, I think, well, I mean, I'm hitting a point certainly where it's like, like at least based on my progression and the types of advantages I have and the charms I have, which I'm missing 3, but I've unlocked all the others. It feels as if like everything pre-Hydra feels like pretty whatever breezy, and then it feels like around Elysium it's like, no, there's still a pretty decent chance of you dying here, so to get to that point where it's like the sub 10 run clear that you guys are talking about, I'm like, yeah, that just sounds like a different version of this video game entirely.
So the way the progression works, if you restart it, so you're obviously taking, let's say you were to restart it, right? First of all, you can throw all your worries about progression in the trash, because the tutorials will launch back up, the game will introduce things at the right speed as it was intended, yada yada yada. You're gonna keep your own goddamn knowledge on how to play the game, right? I would say building that darkness back up with your new knowledge will go much faster than the last time, because like knowing how to beat Lerny is better than fucking like actually having the upgrades to beat Lerny. Like like for example, knowing which are the really good upgrades makes a huge difference. So like more dashes is fucking vital.
Oh yeah.
The upgrade that does 40% more damage if they have 2 status effects on them. Yeah, that one's fucking vital. Get that one right away.
Oh yeah.
That makes all the difference in the world.
4+ dashes, speed increase, anything Hermes related, all that shit from Athena, everything Zeus lightning chain, all that shit has been like clutch for a while now. But then I remember when it was like, oh, right, Chaos Gates. There's an interesting, twist in it. Should I take these every time? And I'm like, yeah, why not? Like skill up and get better at it. But
the other thing is that internalizing the, I'm going to call it point value, but it's a cash value of every different upgrade in the game is like one of the biggest things. So like Daedalus Hammer, right?
Hammers are great.
Is pick it every time. It is the most high value item in the game.
Yeah.
After that, it's double boon. After that, it's single boon. After that is depending on your upgrades, a nectar, et cetera, et cetera.
I go for a palm. I'll say a palm.
So one of the unlocks you have is that nectars give you a free palm.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So that, et cetera. So, and you basically internalize the math. It's like, well, that's 100 gold if I go in the gold one, and that's a health item. Well, the health item costs 125 gold at the shop. Therefore, the health item is more valuable than gold unless I have the gold up.
And I mean, none of this is like, it's my fault for like loving it too much in early access. Like I know that going this hard like leads to these types of situations at this point, especially there's nothing they can do balance wise where like, hey, you've progressed past the point where you should have gotten a reward, except for giving it to you retroactively. But whatever, in QA I understand, like it's a whole fucking blah. So I guess I'm just looking at it like, yep, no, this makes a lot of sense, and now I understand the exact nature of like why my save feels the way it does.
You're in a very strange position.
It's an odd thing, but I will say, so yeah, definitely it seems like, okay, the restart makes the most sense there. But
you could also god mode it for like fucking 8 runs.
I know. That's a thing now. I'll just restart. But looking at it
Oh,
and going, looking at the number and going like, okay, yeah, I got close to 50 hours in on this, and I, in the future, when something is in a similar state, like for example, Darkest Dungeon 2, perfect example, I'm going to have to restrict myself, you know, for and wait for 1.0. I'm gonna definitely just be way more trepidatious about going all in on these games when like the concept that it's at, the concept stage is at, is super addictive, you know. Because yeah, I don't. Every time this happens, it's a fucking.
That reminds me,
Feels
in
bad.
terms of your upgrades, something that you'll want to know going forward. So unlocking weapons is obviously really cool, and like say the first sword, it's like the special does more, you get more damage after the special is done. So, you know, they're minor statistical boosts, right?
Yeah.
The thing you need to know is that the fourth weapon you unlock, which obviously you have to unlock them in order, is a completely different weapon. So like it completely alters the entire moveset, and in most cases has a unique mechanic associated with it.
Okay.
So you definitely want to beeline to that fourth slot.
I was hoping that they would all be really unique. I guess the implication is that they're like slight stat changes here and
1,
there.
2, and 3 are variations. So like the shield variation 2 is it fires multiple shields, and shield variation 3 is it fires a shield that's really slow moving, but it's huge and it's spinning.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And then the fourth shield, fucking, you load your cast into the shield, and when you do the charge, all of them explode when you hit. And it has a different attack animation. Like, it's completely different.
Okay. Interesting. So, yeah, Ryu, Kanekuma, and Jin.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. Yeah. But no, I get going and finding out exactly what was up with it was very helpful for figuring this whole thing out. And yeah, let my plight be a warning to everybody. About
I'm gonna do the opposite of you with Hades 2.
You're gonna go all in on the early.
I am going to max that shit out per iteration, and then on full release, I'm gonna fucking start all the way over.
If you don't mind that feeling, then absolutely, you know. I'm just that old fucking trauma format with my FF7 save and all my Mugen creations.
I feel like every person I have ever met in my life lost an FF7 save.
Dude,
for whatever reason.
When you're young and it's like it take and it's hard to do shit that shit. It
you're a baby.
Fucks you up, man. Yeah, lost progress is just a nightmare. I never got over it, and you know, I don't like the feeling of all going. But at the same time, too, it's proportional to how much I enjoy the game, right? Like, I really enjoy Dead Cells. I knew every time I progressed in that like, you know, I would be doing myself no favors for 1.0, but I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, that's fine. Like, when the time comes or whatever, I'll be okay with the lost progress there. It doesn't feel
Dead
great.
Cells is kind of weird also, because Dead Cells is on like 7.0 or whatever the fuck
Yeah,
now
yeah,
with all
yeah,
its DLC.
yeah. But again, when something just gets its hooks in, you know, like Hades was my comfort game for months, man, you know. So, all right.
I think the craziest version of that is still Darkest Dungeon, the first one, because like the version from 0.9 or whatever version it was right before to 1.0 added that body mechanic, and that was the only real thing that it added. But like it inverted people's opinion of that game. Like people lost their fucking minds.
Positions are not what they used to be. Everything's different. Your entire game plan's changed. Yeah.
It's really weird that they like decided that one of the largest mechanical changes that they could add to the game was going to be the only thing they didn't play test.
I think with one as well. Okay, I think what I'm probably gonna do though for something like that, like Hades, I don't know, like what. There's something to when it's an action game, you feel like I don't want to turn God mode on. I want to just kind of want to play it and do the thing.
You want your brain to be the God mode.
Yeah, with something turn-based like Darkest Dungeon, I'm like, my fear of losing my progress is, like I said, I have a fucking complete ass Hamlet. You know what I mean? And trinkets that are like a giant list of trinkets. I might just do whatever to like complete my Hamlet and pick a save up from that point, you know, and just like crush through those first things just to get that DLC out of the way, just to like scratch all the itches of like the stuff that I left off on because my save was also early access, and you know, and just put it to bed once and for all. Cause yeah, man, like there's the like if you I hate the restart feeling when I really like the game. I fucking, yeah, it hurts, you know. But
for me,
anyway.
on Darkest Dungeon, I'm like in this place of like, I'm not touching that game even a smidgen until they add controller support, because like the fucking like caravan steering shit, fucking trash on keyboard. It's terrible.
I play the caravan with my controller. I just use joystick key.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So I mapped WASD to my pad, and then I'm just playing it with that.
I don't care enough to do that.
Understandable.
That's where I'm at.
Have a nice
because
day.
Like me going through that process would be me going, I'm annoyed with this. I'm very annoyed that I have to do this.
Yeah, but the taste I got of 2 and beating it and beating the you know the boss there and getting that narrative out of the you know, out of the way has been good enough that I'm like, I have faith in the rest of this game. Time to just go lightly from here on out until they're all done, you know? Anyways, so yeah, that's Hades.
You know, the fucking voice actor for Zagreus was temporary. He's like one of the guys on the staff, and they're like, can you do Zagreus's lines while we look for a voice actor? And then they got a couple versions of early access in, and they're like, yeah, no, just do it.
I mean, his delivery is so believable in so many moments. That's insane. Because I was just
a composer.
I was just remarking to myself, like, there's a couple of line reads he does entering areas, like especially with the repetition of everything, where you're like how do people talk to themselves, right? Right, in video games world especially, like, I better get over to that mountain to get this task out of the way, like what, you know, all that bullshit. And like there's times where like he'll just walk back into a room, you know, or he'll hit the gates and just be like, Elysium, you know, and I'm just like, yeah, that's it's just a very simple, like, right, what am I trying to do here? This, okay, now, and or you'll clear a room and he'll have that little like victory line, and he'll just be kind of like, okay, now what, you know, or something like that, where you're just like, yeah, that's how someone talking to themselves sounds.
Yeah,
you know, it's not quite like this video gaming,
quite like Nathan Drake going, I hope I don't fall off this mountain.
I could use this. Enemies everywhere. You know, it's a little bit of that, like, which one of these?
I still think the all-time best talking to yourself video game dialogue award should go to Jake the Dog voicing Marcus Phoenix when you fuck up your active reload in Gears of War 1. Just that, come on! That fucking...
He goes into
I'm so pissed I could spike this gun into the dirt.
Yeah, so no, Zag is doing a fucking, I mean, everything, whatever, it's, you know, news alert, Hades is amazing, whatever, like, fucking, you know, surprise.
News alert, Hades still amazing, and more importantly, I'm following the Hades 2 Twitter account for Supergiant, and I'm like, man, remember how they said that's 2023? That shit might be on the fucking back ass end of 2023, because they announced that game so their Twitter account could post job postings.
Well,
like, that's all that account tweets is like, we need this, we need this, we need this.
Did they not say that they're going through a similar dev cycle for it though, where they're
they
gonna?
Did, but
yeah,
when they announced it, I was under the impression they're like, we'll tell you more in 2023 when it hits early access. And I'm like, oh, cool. Early access in like first quarter. And then I'm watching just like nothing but job postings. I'm like, oh, early access is going to be like September. And then final release is going to be like November of 2025.
Take your time, folks. Take your time.
Take your time, but also give it now.
There's no shortage, dude. Come on, you like there's always too many things.
If I may stamp my feet a bit, but I want it now.
Yeah, well, there you go. Okay, something else I tried out that I've been keeping my eye on. There's a game that popped up on Twitter called Blocky Dungeon.
Blocky Dungeon.
And it is basically Tetris, except when the blocks land, they become dungeon pieces that connect together, and then you control a knight to walk through that dungeon and kill the monsters.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a pretty cool concept. So it has a playable beta came out, demo.
A beta?
Yeah. Or a demo dropped. It's still like, wish listable. But I tried it out just to see the concept and what it felt like, because I was like, this looks like a really cool idea. How's it going to feel in execution, right? And of course you can't you can use Tetramino block formations, but you have to use all the fake ones as well, otherwise you're going to get sued. So, not to mention like that.
Don't get sued making your indie game.
Even like Tetropolis back in the day, which was the Tetris adventure, like Metroidvania looking thing, where it's like, no, they have to change the name to something else. So be careful. You got to be careful with that. Anyways, so yeah, you have a Tetris well, you drop your pieces, and then you control the knight and you go through it and you level up. And so I was like, okay, and yeah, like fucking super interesting in concept. How does it feel? And the specifics of how it feels, it didn't quite click with me, and maybe I need more time. But what I was kind of hoping for was almost like a puzzle phase, and then a progress phase that would play off of each other. And what's actually kind of happening is you're doing both the adventuring and puzzling simultaneously. And you're controlling, so if you're using the keyboard, for example, it's WASD to control the pieces, and it's arrows to control the knight. And you do both. Or if you're using,
that's weird.
So it's a little odd with that. If you're using a controller, it's each stick, or D-pad plus each button, and stuff. And it doesn't. There's something, I don't know. There's something a little bit missing to the hook of it, because you drop some pieces, you make a line, right? And then you can stab your sword in the ground, and then you power up your attack by 1, and then you attack enemies that each have a certain number of HP, and the more lines you stack, the stronger your swing. But the point is to not if you stack up 4 lines, and then you give yourself a power of 4 on your sword, or 5, and you kill something that's 2,
right?
It dies, but then you depower back to 0. What the game wants you to do is actually only power your sword up to 2, so you kill it on the exact number, and then you can keep that kind of combo going.
It sounds like nonsense. That sounds fucking weird.
So it's odd. It's really weird, because it's okay, don't overpower, because if you just play Tetris and you make yourself really strong, then you're going to kill the monster right away, but the combo system needs you to stay weaker on purpose. Also, if you clear, let's say you drop 4 Tetris lines, and then the monsters are all around, and then you just walk past the 4th line, they're all going to drop and clear as if it were, again, normal Tetris, and everything in there will just kind of die, but not necessarily, I guess, count as a kill.
It should die. You killed it.
But you can avoid fight. But if you avoid fighting for too long, a curse builds up that damages you, so it incentivizes you to go back and make sure you kill things manually without just walking away. And like that's like, okay, so that's supposed to be there to stop you from just like letting everything drop off without killing it. But it's a contrivance instead of an incentive, you know?
What was the name? I'm thinking of a game that is not exactly similar, but its core, what was it called? There was a 3DS game, DS game, called Henry Hatsworth.
Oh, I remember Hatsworth. Yeah.
In which you were playing a old school Disney style platformer on the top screen, and you were playing, I want to say like Bejeweled
puzzle
on the
game
bottom
on the
screen,
bottom,
and it would give you power ups or heal you or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember people telling me, man, Henry Hatsworth is incredible. And I'm like, okay. So I fucked around with it, and got to the second level. I'm like, the demand on your eyes and attention is farcical. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of how you're describing it. It's all one screen.
A little. It's all one screen, but there's two things happening, and the synergy between them, it didn't feel like it was completely landing. It didn't feel like it was quite there. I'm not gonna go into the pass the puck conversation on Twewy, because that's a whole other thing that we should leave in the past.
The puck.
But I will say that in this instance, it didn't feel like the synergy of these two simultaneous games that you're playing was like working completely in congruence with each other, you know? So like it's like maybe I need to give it a little bit more and see what it's like in when you progress further. But like at the based on the demo and stuff, I'm like, I don't know if this is the best way to take that concept of walking through your Tetris piece dungeon. You know, I don't know if this is the best way to go about it necessarily. We're gonna have to see. But like, yeah, I just got to be honest. Like, it wasn't fully clicking. But I love the idea because I fucking love me some Tetrises, you know. And
I am aware of your deep love for Tetris.
And I want a game where you're like, walking, where you're basically just doing any like your Zelda style or like even Necrodancer style, just like walking through a maze, getting through the monsters and stuff. I want that to work really well, but I feels...
get it, but like the problem is with all these games that go two genres combined, like two disparate genres combined, is like you have to beat you use Zelda, right? Let's use Link to the Past. This has to beat playing Link to the Past and pausing it to play Tetris on your other monitor and then going back to Zelda.
Yeah.
It has to be easier to do than that.
The part where you are walking through this like dungeon that's, kind of roguelike isn't the word to use here because it's pieces that you place to create the maze. It is
absolutely the word to use here because it's on the store page.
Okay, well then, fine. I guess
we jumped out at me when I looked at it.
God, just we'll used our hot words then. Yeah,
it is in fact the first weird mix of block pacing puzzles and roguelike, where you build a dungeon and explore it at the same time.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I guess I would. Yeah, fine. I'll take that.
I will defer to the hard drive article describing roguelike fan will be so excited when someone finally makes one.
But that part works pretty cool together with just progressing through, and when you eventually meet the goals or the requirements, the exit to the stairs to the level is on one of the pieces, and you drop it in, and you have to make it through the monsters in the way, and then once you do, you're out of the level. Or if you accidentally kill that, then another exit reappears and you have to place it again. So there's stuff about that that's like, okay, yeah, this is kind of coming together. But it almost feels like if it would be simpler and more, it almost feels like it would be better if like you had a puzzle phase of building the dungeon and then you just played a normal dungeon, and then when you get to it, you go back to like a puzzle phase to continue or something. Like I don't know. It almost feels like the interplay is like just it seems a bit forced.
The way that you're describing that makes me think of something that I forget where I read it. but it really stuck with me about plot twists. Right? We talked about it on this podcast a lot, where I'm like, if the plot twist is this guy betrayed you and was evil, but that's actually less interesting than having played it straight, then that plot twist sucks, right? If the twist version is lamer or less interesting than the non-twist version,
Inscription.
and the way you just described is like the interplay seems like, oh, I get it. I kind of wish it was actually simpler and these parts were completely separated out. Like that seems unfortunate.
Yeah. There's a bit of a gamble where the more you drop blocks to create Tetris, as it were, the higher level the monsters become. So I can see the part where it's like, oh, you want to play risky? All right, play risky. You're gonna die hard, but you're gonna kill hard as well. That's an interesting balance between the two that I think is successful. But yeah, some of the other stuff, not too sure. Doesn't.
Have you played Loop Hero?
I haven't.
Loop Hero is superficially similar, but you might be interested in it because you are building you're building the stage that your auto walking hero is going down in order to complete the roguelike for them.
Sounds cool.
Fucking super weird.
I've heard that name before.
It's
yeah.
Super weird.
So yeah, that was a blocky dungeon is what I was talking about there. And yeah, one other thing I would like to discuss is the first and second episodes of Trigun Stampede are out.
Oh, this is perfect.
Hell yeah.
I did not watch Trigun Stampede, but I watched something else.
Okay.
So tell me about Trigun Stampede. Of the clips I've seen, it seems radically different than Trigun 90s.
Well, step one is fuck yeah, Johnny Young Bosch is back. He got cast.
Of course.
And they did the right thing. The dub is not out yet, of course, so we'll wait to see. But yeah, yay on that news. Fucking incredible. That's the right way to play it. And it's, as he kind of mentioned too, it's like it was his first role. Like it's super fucking important to him for that reason. So really happy about that. So far, you know what? Let me see something because how many episodes is this planned to be? Is it planned to be 26 or 13?
The original was 26, right?
The original was 26. I don't know if they have. Usually they announce how many episodes a thing is going to be. Let's see. Does it say? Maybe not. Okay. 12? Okay, it's going to be shorter. Yeah. All right, that explains some stuff.
Pardon me for jumping in, but it feels like in my gut I knew it was shorter because it looks shorter.
It is
like the 3D. I see that and I go, oh, that's going to be 6 or 12 tops.
It is gorgeous. It looks incredible. I fucking like the stuff they're doing, man. Like Orange, right? Beastars, I believe. Wow, it looks so good, and seeing more of it, from just because when you see the first trailer reveal, the main thing, of course, that everyone is thinking is like, well, that's not the Vash that I recognize, but aside from that point, the show looks so fucking good. Happy
Chaos dyed his hair and got a show.
and yeah, that's all going. We have not seen Millie yet, so who knows what that's gonna be. But there might be plot reasons for that, because it's like right now, it's hard to say if these two things are supposed to be congruent, but it feels like they're probably not, right? Because there was a theory about maybe the fact that the trailer focused so much on July, which is the city that gets fucking wrecked in the original pre-show, this is all supposed to be like focusing on like maybe an earlier chapter, right? And that like it's a new version, it's a reimagination, but in theory it could exist earlier than the original show.
And then
we know.
in the final episode of this 12-episode run, Vash is gonna go down to the car store and get a big old van and a puppy so he can go solve mysteries. That's all that is going. That exact mentality of it's just before the other stuff is happening with the Velma shit.
Is that what's happening? Okay, I have no idea what's happening in Velma, dude. Okay,
it's like, because
right.
they haven't met yet. So then at the end they will go and they'll get the van.
Oh, are they not friends yet? Is that what's happening?
No, they're not. They don't even know each other. Really, they don't like each other.
Okay, it's a prequel. Gotcha. Okay. Well, so something that is interesting is happening so far is like this is it's a fun watch. I do like what they're doing, but knowing the history of the world and knowing two other angles of these characters, like knowing the manga version and the fucking show version, like I know what this world is and what's already established. It's just like, how are you going to reveal that information, right? Is basically how I'm like looking at it. But like if you look at it as a new fan, let's say you're someone who's never watched the original, it's odd because the pacing difference is so drastically different, and I don't know if this is based on just like a more modern version of like how you got to get people's attention from the jump with a new series. Obviously, a shorter amount of episodes means you get less time to fuck around. But something I loved about Trigun, about Bebop, and about all those 90s animes that we fucking talk about and shit, right? Is the idea of like there's the setting, and then the characters establish themselves through relatively low stakes, helping a guest of the day style stories.
Yeah.
And then when we eventually start to bleed in a little bit of the past, you sit up and you go, oh.
It's fascinating because what you're describing, I feel like the 90s was just really, really, really comfortable with story of the week. Like in like all TV media. Like me and Paige have been binge watching X-Files, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Every season of X-Files has the exact structure of Cowboy Bebop.
Right.
The first episode is a two-parter that is about the aliens and the conspiracy. Then for 6 to 10 episodes, they chase after wolfmans and ghosts and fishmen, right? And then in the center, they go, the conspiracy is the alien. Whoa.
Yeah.
And then they go right back to Frankenstein's and ghosts and shit until the season finale.
Yes.
And I feel like almost everything that came out in the 90s followed that exact structure.
So this is the thing. When you were watching it formatted for TV, that makes a lot of sense. And, again, you're trying to get through your 26 episode run. But if those moment to moment, like, a monster of the week or guest of the week things are happening.
It's literally monster of the week in X-Files. They fucking Fishman and Wolf people.
Now, if that stuff is still fun to watch and entertaining and do like establishing the characters regardless, then it doesn't drag, right? Sometimes it can. Now, when I
tell you, because you've talked a lot about Bebop, and I agree with you. Jupiter Jazz is incredible, but most of the time I want to see them off doing side adventures.
Okay, yeah.
That is exactly what is happening in X-Files. Because when it's about the conspiracy, if the cigarette smoking man is not on the screen, get the cigarette smoking man on the screen. If it's not about the conspiracy and they're chasing after a ghost possessing tree people, give me that monster of the week shit.
Now, there are some exceptions where it's not a perfect mix because now that some time has passed, looking back on like Samurai Champloo, I'm like, man, I wanted them to get to that sunflower smelling motherfucker for so long, and like the little bits of backstory were lesser than the hijinks, you know? It feels like the and like in some cases, some episodes of hijinks were kind of like I just literally don't remember them. Yeah. But it was one of those cases where, like, unfortunately, well, I mean, whatever, you know, it's the true journey is the friends we made along the way. Like, it's one of those bits where, like, yeah, in Shampoo, the main important stuff they were going for was like lesser than the fucking what is the gimmick of the week? Baseball. We're gonna invent baseball.
Fuck,
you know?
Yeah, let's do the baseball episode.
Yeah, you know, that shit was so fucking good. So, but here's the thing, right? How would you feel if, like, Bebop starts and like the first thing you see is the Syndicate and Vicious and the whole setup?
Well, that's the difference, right? Like, the difference between the ones that we're talking about and the reason why Bebop succeeds so strongly is that you don't even know it has a plot until like halfway through the goddamn show.
Yes. And this is the thing, and like this might just be like old head 90s cartoon bias, right? But that type of storytelling, it's happened so many times that it's made me like slowly fall in love with these shows. Like, the fact that Reboot started getting a plot later,
multiple seasons in,
it was so unprecedented. Like, it was so wild to me, and like I fucking fell in love with it because of like that unexpected hijinks turning into something solid and then staying in there and still giving you occasional hijinks, but the ratios flip by the end. By the end, it's
so
mostly
really
full
nailed
plot.
it, because like 9 times out of 10 for that first season, I'd say more than 9 times out of 10, actually. It's like 19 times out of 20 for that first season. And so now I'm going to drive a race car in this one.
Yeah.
And then you hit the end of season 2 and like characters are like wailing and like, Enzo's dead! He's dead! Right? Like, it was a wild flip.
It was 9 episodes of hijinks to 1 episode of like continuity, and then that number slowly inverted until the characters were crying. Until the characters were screaming.
I still remember like, user loss, user win, and
user
like
wins.
just my brother is dead. Wail of agony.
And that was when they got the new facial expressions and went nuts on it. It was so all of that was a slow build, right? And then the first time, you know, you hit Ballad of the Fallen Angels, you're like, oh shit, what's going on, right? And with Trigun, it's the same kind of thing. Now, sure, the show has its pacing based on, you know, the way anime was happening in the 90s, but the manga as well is full of, like, you can pace a manga however the fuck you want. You can write that however you want. The way Naitao wrote the Trigun Maximum and Trigun Original books was such that, yeah, he was wandering around, you know, this fucking dusty ass planet and just like kind of helping people, and people are like, what's this fucker's deal? Why is he so dangerous? What's going on? And then like little blips of fucked up shit would happen, and then just go right back to, no, happy-go-lucky, we're playing with the kids. Oh, now there's a tie on my head, you know? And, like, those little blips would pick up, and then, like, certainly by the time you're, you know, 5 books in or so to Trigun Maximum, like, most of what's going on is, like, fucked up knives and gung-ho gun shit, right? Yeah. So when you take that and you change it so that, like, for a new viewer, right off the bat, you know the main character's backstory and trauma immediately. And then Vash is established as, like, he's the goofball, but, like, you know, he's like, oh, there's pain behind the smile kind of bit, right? Like, when you kind of get right into that, it paints a different character a little bit.
100%.
And I don't know if, again, that's just more reflective of the way stories are told now, because, you know, if I think of like how Arcane told its story, we also started on the little flashback of, you know, Vi and Jinx, and then you know, you kind of see them in childhood, and you go chronological, so you get it moving forward in this way. Here, like, I remember the reveal of Rem, Knives, and the full plant backstory.
All that plant stuff.
When that episode started, and it was like, oh, here's young Vash and Knives getting their hair cut. Like, it was such a hype pop-off to be like, we're finally getting to find out what happened, right? Mm-hmm. You work to this point, you're getting to the nugget, and it felt like a reward almost in how you got to it. And then it was fantastic. The backstory is super cool. I don't know what it's like when you start with that, you know, for a new viewer. I don't know that it's better.
Yeah, and there's something else that, I mean, it's more applicable to something like X-Files and Bebop, specifically as 90s stuff, that, like, as the 12 episode run has a problem with, right? And that is, we were talking about stuff getting canceled on Netflix earlier, right? The ability to serialize your monster or plot of the week lets you swing real wide, right? Mm-hmm. So like Toys in the Attic, or the fucking the clown LeFou episode, right? Those are wide swings in Bebop. They don't have nothing to do with shit, right? They kind of don't need to be in Cowboy Bebop at all. Like, they could be in other things.
They could.
They're great. And meanwhile, you get, like, you could, by your wide swings, you could also get, like, fucking garbage, right? But sometimes that garbage is interesting. And the reason why I bring this up is that watching X-Files, I have never seen a show swing wilder between, like, wow, this is one of the best episodes of TV I've ever seen, and this is, like, straight trash. And sometimes it's so trash that I'm like, this is incredible. So, like,
could you see?
Maybe they're chasing the Loch Ness Monster in some fucking Virginia lake. Okay, that's pretty mid. But what about next week? We're chasing a Blackula.
Right.
And my wife Paige and I are sitting there going, is that are they trying to catch a Blackula? Yes, honey, they are. I say this not because it is a black Dracula. I say this because it is a black guy who is sucking the black out of black people until they are albino to regenerate his blackness. That is a real X-Files episode.
Oh, yeah. Damn. Oh,
like,
man. Wow.
And like wow. The scenes of him, like, inviting like his social worker into his house, and he's like, oh, I'll help you out, and it, like, pans to, like, his hand, and his hand's, like, white and ashy, and then the music swells, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is crazy.
It's just, oh, god damn it.
Yeah, without the ability to do your spin-offs.
Mulder,
right?
We got to get to the Waffle House quick.
You don't get some of those. Like, there's people I've spoken to who fucking hate.
I mean, it just, you know,
the Andy episode, the Cowboy Andy episode from Bebop.
Okay, so
let me look up the fucking episode title.
Okay, no, but what I wanted to ask was, like, do you have to look at the credit of the person who wrote it once the title drops, because it's an American TV show, different writers every time, so you're gonna fucking see like this episode written by that crazy fucker who writes all the insane ones.
Get that feeling. There's like a couple episodes a season which take place in what I can only call the cartoon X-Files universe.
Okay.
That are just fucking zany, in which they'll do fourth wall breaking tricks and have characters look at the camera and like joke around in ways that are not appropriate because there's corpses everywhere. Okay. And then there's the other ones that are like deadly serious about the conspiracy and faith and
even
the universe.
Yeah, because even like Game of Thrones, I remember like there's stuff where like, oh, you see like this episode directed by Tim Van Patten, you'd be like, oh, that was, yeah, okay, that's one of the good ones or whatever. And episodes of X-Files, I remember like, I've seen so few randomly across the course of TV, but the times where I wanted to like tune in was every time something related to the main plot would happen, and there was a bunch of, and it was always a season finale, right?
Always, and it was always a two-parter.
Yeah, and I remember two things. I remember two season finales. I remember one, they were advertising where like they find Mulder's sister, and there's a whole scene with a bridge and like a bunch of aliens that are going to come down and like burn people alive on the bridge.
We fucking watched that last night.
I remember that, right? And I remember being...
episode was nuts.
And I remember being like, are they finally going to answer anything about this?
No, they are going to answer nothing.
And yeah, and then the other one I remember is like, went towards the end, they're like, oh, the answers to like, or the final bits with Cigarette Smoking Man, and like they go find him in a cave somewhere. Yeah. And I think it's like the last scene with him is just sitting in a cave or something like that. And it was just like, what was his deal? And I don't remember the answer being anything.
His deal, Wooly, is that he assassinated JFK and Martin Luther King Jr.
Okay. There you go.
That's the Cigarette Smoking Man's deal.
But they advertised the shit out of that on fucking like, oh, like Fox Sunday coming, you know, and I'm just like, do they ever answer any of this shit? Yeah, okay. All right. So
the X-Files has a weird broadcast history in which it came back on the air twice after being done for a long time. So who knows what the answers. It's fun that you mentioned that, because some of the best and zaniest X-Files episodes are written by a guy who wrote one of those shows, and Bryan Cranston was in one of those episodes. And when this guy was making his new TV show many years later, he called Bryan Cranston and said, hey, you were really great on that X-Files episode we did.
Shit.
Would you like to play a chemistry teacher in my new show?
Vince Gilligan.
Because that was Vince Gilligan, who was a co-creator, co-producer, co-writer on most of X-Files.
That's pretty interesting. Oh, wow. Okay. Huh. Well, anyways, all that nonsense aside, there's only 2 episodes of Trigun Stampede to really go off of here. So, like, we're going to have to see where this goes. So far, it's a strong start. So far, it's pretty good. And what they've done is they've kind of taken a mishmash of, like, moments of, like, major establishing things about Vash. Like, there's a couple of moments that happen in, like, let's say the first 5 episodes of the anime that they kind of just, like, drop together in one. And then there's tons of stuff as well where it's like, oh, if you remember this world, like, you're gonna recognize the names of these cities, some of these characters, these people. You're gonna see a lot of shit going on that you're like, oh yeah, okay, I know what's up with that. But then you're gonna see like, oh, Millie is, or rather Meryl is, like, not an insurance lady. She's actually a news reporter. And oh dear God, Jesus Christ. Okay,
I found the photos.
All right, so the people getting the black suck out of them, in X-Files and Teleco. Oh boy. Okay. All right.
It's so awful. It's so ridiculous.
Jesus Christ. Damn. No, don't take my melanin. I don't want that. Anyway, so. Yeah, there's little things all over where you're like, oh yeah, I recognize what's going on, and as well as the fact that, like, the price on Vash's head is it's let lower because, you know, he's not the monster of Lost July just yet. So all this is kind of like, okay, it's setting it up, but I am a bit worried about like how compelling like knives and like shit like that might be when you're waiting for it the whole time, as opposed to slowly walking into it. And I will say,
the problem with like Trigun already existing.
Yeah, so and here's the thing. What does work and what I have no problem with and what's cool is like if a show makes a promise from the start, right? Where it does like a little bit. For example, fucking Simon on the goddamn Arcadia equivalent, Harlock style, going every light in the sky is an enemy, and you're like, what the fuck was that? And it's like,
and then
title
it's like,
drop.
Let's rewind.
Right? Damn. Working underground with a little drill sucks. And you're like, oh, okay, I don't know what the fuck that was, but sure, let's see where this goes. And like that little tease of like, you know, the shit to come is cool. I have no problems with that. But in this case, it did that, and then it kept going and like was like, no. Here's exactly what happened.
That wasn't the ending. That was the in media res.
You know? Shimon, excuse me. I'm sorry. Let me get that right.
Fight everyone on the
Shimon. When Shimon says every light in the sky is an enemy.
They took Eris away from me. They're not going to take this one.
So yeah, the promise of what's to come, we'll have to see where it goes. But so far, man, fucking just super gorgeous and very cool. God damn it, that intro is a good intro. That OP is fine. It's very 2023. Yeah. It's not HT, and nothing will ever be HT, and that's okay. No, that's exactly it. What are you gonna do? You can't expect everything to just be that, and I know, but HT is like, but like even the fucking live action Bebop was like, we're just gonna use tank, because what the fuck are you gonna do? Not use tank?
Well, we're gonna do something. We're gonna tell someone to do a better song than Tank. Would it be stupid?
Yeah, and in this case, I kind of feel like HT is goated and should have been like, you know, like you could have done something, but what's there is fine.
Ask you, how long are these episodes?
23 minutes.
20, 22, 23. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. But you know, we'll see where it goes, and I hope that, like, by playing all these cards on the pasts really early, there's some unexpected twists as to where this is going to go in terms of like being a fan that knows stuff about it already about this, you know. They also changed the name of the planet, which is interesting.
Well, maybe it's a different planet.
Well, yeah, no,
maybe
it's not.
A different Vash.
No, because the cities are the same name, but like,
what if it's just a coincidence? Big coincidence.
Yeah, it used to be called the Planet Gunsmoke, and now it's called No Man's Land. So, yeah,
those aren't real things. None of those are real. So
no, so you know, we'll see. But like the time frame everything is happening in as well as one where it's like, I don't know if there's gonna be a Wolfwood. There might not be.
But how, if there's no Wolfwood in the new design, how am I supposed to draw my fucking slash shit?
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? You're gonna have to get real creative about it.
No, I need the existing design so that I can just.
I mean, we've already got like fucking modern day shaved side head Vash. So just get Hype Beast Wolfwood going with the Supreme Priest's outfit and some fucking J's, and we're good to go. You know. Anyways, I continue to watch because I fucking love me some Trigun, and I'll say that, like, you know, despite the initial fucking reaction online, it's pretty fucking good so far. You know,
I have seen reaction for that thing split right down the middle. It's very strange to me. Like, I'm seeing people go, "Oh my god, the new 3D stuff is crazy," versus everything in this show looks like shit, like right next to each other on the timeline. And so, it's like, it is polarizing.
Yeah, I don't. As a fucking lover of the old shit, I don't mind what they're doing here. Um, I I do like how so when it comes to like 3D animation, fucking really like taking off and doing its thing. Obviously, there's been a ton of different movies over the years that have established themselves. Pixar movies and all that have been a thing. I feel like Spider-Verse kind of created a vibe with the with the frame rate, you know,
Yeah.
and like a vibe that's like, okay, no, they're doing something stylistic here that works and everyone's on board for it. And I like that we're starting to see some games kind of play with that, and we're seeing a couple other
Reminds
movies.
me, I need to watch Puss in Boots.
Dude, Puss in Boots looks so fucking sick.
Because
dude, it's
Puss in
crazy
Boots
how good that looks.
Is like the Trek people wanting to rip off Metal Gear Rising with Armstrong and Sam.
Cannot believe how fucking sick that movie looks. It's crazy. So the first trailer was like, oh yeah, that's funny. Okay, interesting. What's going on? And then like I want to say like the second one was like, oh shit, this looks pretty sick. And then I saw a full scene from that movie with the wolf, the villain,
Big Bad Wolf. Yeah.
And when he kicks the sword at him, like, pick it up. You know? And I'm just like, what is going on? Why is this so sick? And then in the action sequences, they're Spider-Versing really hard. And I'm like, oh man, okay. Puss in Boots looks fucking godlike.
Yeah, I gotta see that for next week.
I can't believe, and like, so, and with the wolf too, it's like not overdone with the design. It's just a big wolf. And he's got some sickles and a cape. And then it's just the way, like the silhouette, there's frames where his eyes just become pure red circles, but just for like a moment, it's just really, really good. Unexpected fucking quality there. But anyways, there's cool stuff happening, you know, in 3D, and there's a couple of moments in this where, like, you know, they're doing like the Vash the Stampede style, like breakneck bullet dodging kind of moments, but like very stylistically, you know, like whereas like in the show or in the original book, like you'd have a moment where like Vash dodges a fucking insane amount of bullets by just breaking his back and doing like a quick Neo move, and here you get a kind of like a slow but smooth kind of dance to it that looks interesting, that you can only really do with, you know, a lot of attention to detail in 3D animation. So they're using the medium, is I guess what I'm trying to say, and I'm hopeful for where it's going to go. But I hope there's something interesting to laying all your cards out right away and then playing a game where, you know, everyone's cards are face up. Like, we'll see what's going to happen with this. Check it out though if you're you know. If the trailer didn't revulse you and you're a Trigun fan, check it out.
Since it's a 23 minute episode per Trigun, this seems like a low intensity buy-in, right? Like, I would like to sit down and watch one episode. What is that, a half hour of your life?
Yeah, it ain't much.
I had a very different experience earlier last night where I said, hey, I should watch a specific television program so I can talk about it on the podcast. And I went to go watch The Last of Us television program, and my jaw hit the floor at 80 minutes.
For the first episode?
For the first episode.
Wow.
80 fucking minutes.
How far do they get?
They get to leaving the QZ.
Okay. Wow. That's a movie. That
is a feature film.
Yep. Hour 20.
And it's there's some stuff taken away, there's some stuff added, right? Mm-hmm. It's, you know, it's very accurate. It's extremely well acted.
I hear it's great. I hear it's really good.
It's really good. And this is an adaptation in the purest sense of, like, just, do you not play video games? Do you not want to play a video game? Here, we're going to translate this into a medium as close as we can get it.
Oh,
right?
is it clicking play on the long play video?
Oh, dude, there are scenes that are like cut for cut, shot for shot, word for word, identical. Like it
Okay.
is it no, it's not an adaptation. It is a translation or a transliteration in many cases from one to the next.
Gene was explaining how, like, again, like there's stuff that like um gets elaborated on that, you know, is left open, and that there's like some stuff gets added.
Yeah,
But
there's some nice stuff added that's like nice like world building or little details and stuff like that. There's a couple things that are cut that I kind of miss, but at the same time I understand the need to cut because the storyline of Last of Us is a storyline that mandates that every 12 to 18 minutes there's some kind of violent shootout.
yeah.
Right?
You got
So I can understand why you don't want to structure your story that way.
Also, you can't. I imagine it wouldn't be interesting if there was clickers like for fucking half of the episodes. You know,
Yeah.
or sneaking around clickers and
Oh yeah, though this episode is going to be 90 minutes of hiding behind the thing and throwing bricks.
yeah.
I don't think that would work that well. Yeah, very good, very excellent. People are like, it's the first great video game adaptation. I don't think that's true at all. I think Castlevania and Sonic, and I think that curse is long broken.
Wow,
But
way
this
to
is
just shit on Mortal Kombat, fuckers.
Yeah, but this is the first like serious, sad, Emmy bait TV show that would be a video game adaptation. But all like it's okay. So as a transliteration, as an adaptation in the pure sense, it kind of feels a little pointless because like. You know when you're reading a manga and you're like, man, I would really like to see this scene animated. I'd want to see, what this would animate like because it's very dynamic, or I would want to see like the emotionality in the characters' movements because, whatever, right? The fucking there's a scene where they go back to the house and Joel and Ellie have just met and they're complaining about having to be with each other and it's a couple minutes long, right? And it's just like it's a fucking copy paste, right? And it's just like I'm torn because on the one hand, like you don't want it to be too different because then it strays from the source material and you're missing out on that. But it's so the same that like it's just
so
like I saw this scene already.
Well, so here's the question: when's the last time you played Last of Us 1?
A couple years ago.
Okay.
4 or 5 years ago.
Was it a replay later?
Yeah, it was a replay.
Or okay.
Yeah.
Because for me, it was first time I played it, when it came out, and then there was a second one with Punch Mom, again a couple years later. But it's been long enough that like I wouldn't mind. But if I did just finish playing it, then I probably would want to wait longer.
I remember that game really vividly. Like very vividly, to the point where I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, they're really going like extreme attention to adaptation detail. Sarah in the intro part of the episode is wearing the same clothing as she does in the game. Stuff down to that, right?
Yeah, which I like to hear because I mean, not everything needs that treatment, but when it does happen, like Sin City, for example, it's like fuck yeah, someone who gets it and cares about the source material like and its strengths. In this case, as we said, the source material was pretty much made to be cinematic, anyways.
Yeah, and that's the weird part. It's because it's like, yeah, no shit, this is an easy or good adaptation. Like the blueprint was done. Like it was like if you grabbed YouTube playlist Last of Us 1 all cutscenes and threw it next to this thing, it would be a little less contiguous, but like it'd be somewhat approximate.
And then of course there's just the bit where there's always a new audience. You wait long enough, and there's a bunch of people that are just seeing it for the first time, and that's another reason to go about it. But who's what channel and or people are behind this?
It's on the HBO.
Okay, because of all the shit we're hearing about, like, you know, the fucking Paramount Plus adaptations and, you know, Netflix ones and all this shit. You're just like, okay, so if there's something worth noting, let's just note who did it, and hopefully that can be a marker for quality, you know, for other adaptations if they're gonna have to.
Oh, people in the chat are saying that it is from the Chernobyl cast and crew.
Ah, yes, okay, yeah, Chernobyl was good. True. Okay. Right on.
Yeah, it's super accurate. It's extremely well acted. The writing is the same. Like I will not compliment its writing because it was already written. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a good watch.
Like, there's panels of Sin City where I'm just like, oh, it's moving now. You did it. And like, oh, I'm just like, oh yeah, great casting, right? Fucking Kevin as whatchamacallit, Elijah Wood, fantastic, right? So, you know, but this was already done.
Yeah. Like you know, people talking about like, oh, how would you do God of War? I'm like, you would put Chris Judge in makeup and you would fucking just fucking do the scenes that already exist with the camera angles. Like
I mean, that's what he had to say too, pretty much, when there was a rumor of someone getting cast as Kratos for an adaptation. I forget who. There was a story this week about that, and Chris replied like, "Oh, no offense to whoever, but read the room, guys," or something to that effect.
Yeah, no, it was like
Batista.
I think people talking about Batista. Yeah, and it's like,
yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of where it's at, and it's like, it's just like we've hit the point of video game adaptation, where it's like, just drag it over to the other folder, and then drop it, and then put people on the set.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that The Last of Us is good, because
it's not just good, Wooly. It's the first great video game story. /S.
Yeah. Arcane. Finally, video games have a great adaptation.
Castlevania, Arcane, Sonic again.
Mortal Kombat 1!
No, that was
unironically. I don't care. Count. Shut up.
Edge Runners, and I swear to God, Wooly, when that fucking Mario movie comes out, it's gonna start happening again.
Yeah.
Mario finally breaks the curse, and that one's gonna be extra stupid because it's like similar to Sonic. A bunch of like.
Dead or Alive was great.
I don't know about that.
Dead or Alive, as the fucking fighting game movie, was aware of exactly what it was.
I don't know about that.
It pulled no punches.
The rest of my week was pretty dull, except for a new series that Paige and I have started called the Paige May Cry HD series, in which it's on my channel, and I've decided. Do you remember a little while ago when we were talking about Bayo? I'm like, I out loud said like, should I fucking do the Devil May Cry series again? And I was like, yeah, I should. And then I forget what the comment was. I forget like exactly or where I saw it. But somebody said, probably not, because you and Wooly's LPs of those games were complete and excellent, and you're probably not going to do a better job than you already did. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But wait. What if I get my goofy wife to learn how to do it? She's never played these games. And it's the exact experience that I was hoping for. Number one, hey, cool. Number two, wow, this camera sucks. Can I fix the camera? No. And number three, which was after recording it, hey, that was really fun, but maybe before the next time, maybe I can like try and practice a little bit so I have the combos a little bit better.
Okay.
Like, yeah. That's it. Got it.
Tier Tier 3 sub for a max act. Let's see it.
Though it did with somebody's new eyes, it definitely put a spin on some of the stuff in Devil May Cry released in 2001, in which her mouth agape and like giggling like a fool at Sparta woke up to justice as he's doing his fucking Bugman karate shit in the back. Yeah, no, okay, man, that shit's sillier than I thought it was. It's so silly.
Do you want to know the best part about Sparta's stupid dance spin kata?
Yeah.
You already know.
No, what I know is that when earlier today on fucking Twitter, I posted me and Paige laughing about waking up to justice, and she posted, yeah, I love it when he does his little kick flips. Queequeg Theater, one of my mods, responded with Wooly at home 15 seconds ago, saying they're called katas, goddammit.
Sure, that is in fact.
There it is.
He's doing his kata. No, I was gonna point out that when you do the fucking Sin Devil Trigger finale, when you do the super, it's the Sparta kata.
Are you shut up? There's
it's
no.
It's dude.
No,
it's
not.
I swear to God,
not. You're a liar.
When you do is it Doomsday? No. What am I thinking of? What's the name of the fucking move? When you do fuck.
What's the move?
I think it's Doomsday. When you do fuck, or is it Judgment?
I don't fucking know.
Judgment. Okay. When you do Judgment as Sin Devil Trigger Dante, and he spins the swords around and does the fucking attack and slashes the whole screen up and kills everything, he's doing the exact same live action Sparta spins, like 1-to-1, down to the final explosion.
I just saw the kick.
It's exactly what he's doing.
Oh my God.
Dante's final move.
Now I'm losing my mind because I'm apparently the person who told you that in the original Let's Play.
Well, then there you go.
God damn it.
It's so sick.
I'm losing my fucking mind.
They found a way, you know? Like Virgil's doing his judgment cut end. He's getting his whole fucking reality, altering moves and shit. And Dante's is just leaning super hard in to daddy.
Like my daddy did.
Oh, look at my kick, though. Stunting like my daddy did.
Yeah, I can't believe the kick is right there. Yeah.
He's doing it.
The kick is what made her lose her mind. The kick where he's just the fucking sideways, like, eh.
Amazing. What a great fucking just final little nod right there. Because I'm just thought, oh, he's just doing a cool sword thing. It's almost like a Danse Macabre, except whatever. But it's like, no. He's doing the dumb fucking kata. and God only knows they mocapped it like exactly.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's also led to discussions that are like infuriating of like, what happened to Sparta? I don't know.
Look at him in this chair.
Aren't there 5 games?
Shut up. He's sitting in this chair and he's tired.
I don't know.
Although
wait, why did it take him 1980 years to have kids after he defeated the demon world?
And they grew up in modern day, but it looks as if they grew up in the 1800s.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever. All I know is I prefer the human version of him that looks like Sabretooth bursting out of his fucking muscle shirts.
Yeah. Not like evil Beethoven.
And not the evil Beethoven, no. Evil Beethoven, Sparta can fuck off. Sabretooth, Sparta, get in. Yeah. We need that. That like remember Vampire Hunter D when like the vampires are like barely holding their human forms together. Mm-hmm. You're just like, oh yeah, your face and jawline and nose are just like, you just want to beast out right now, like that.
Calm down,
want
dude.
that.
You can't just beast out like this.
Nah, don't.
Try and relax.
It doesn't seem like he would turn into a big bug man, but I don't care. It's cool. Yeah. Okay.
So there's gonna be more of that coming on. What fucking day did I put it on? I'm losing my fucking brain. I can't remember nothing no more. Fucking January 21st. What is that? Is that Saturday?
That
It
is a
is
Saturday.
Saturday. So yeah, show up for on the 21st at 4 p.m. Pacific for Page May Cry HD on Pat Stares At. You can also go to Pat Stares At for other days. There'll be videos on there, but that's gonna be the really good one.
Okay. Over on Wooly Versus, going to be picking back up with Mass Effect 3. That's the plan. Going to have to get some slop streaming in as well, because
Get the slop.
it's been a minute, so some of that's coming. And yes, I believe a decision has been made on the new LP.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Fuck it.
And
Front Mission 3.
oh, you're gonna do it now?
Yeah, fuck it. I don't care. It's great.
Right before the re-release comes out?
Yeah, I don't care. Oh, too bad. We'll see. I want it. We're just doing it because that might happen, or it'll take its time, and I'll take a look when it comes. But like in the meantime, it's fucking great. We go.
Hey, okay. In that case, I don't know what your personal rule set for your own channel is on guides and whatnot. There's only one you want, and that is what parts unlock what skills. Because there's nothing in the game that will tell you that at all.
Oh yeah.
And the only way skills unlock is if you use the right part on the right mech at the right time with the right weapon, and it's just a fucking crapshoot.
Oh no, I'm gonna be reading. Like I want this to just go good, smooth, good, cool.
Good smooth.
Good smooth. I'm
There's
reading.
also a training arena that you can fucking just level your shits up off camera.
And I know as well that we're going in for 40. So it's gonna minimum if you're mashing
Wooly, the short campaign took me 60 as a child.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's gonna
Get ready for fucking part 100 of this shit.
But it's such a fucking compelling game from the start. And I feel like anyone who tunes in that doesn't know is going to feel that as well. And it'll be a fun journey. So
what campaign are you going to do?
We'll see. We'll see. Probably like
the one you get?
The recommended normal one to start with instead of like going alt from the jump. Yeah.
Because one of them is harder than the other.
Yeah, no, you're meant to join her the second time around. So we're going to probably not do that the first time around. But, yeah, there we go. So, tune into Wooly Versus. We got some fun stuff coming your way. Right now, I got some fun stuff to put in the toilet. So, be right back.
Is it poop?
No, it's pee.
Oh, hey.
right. Apparently, some people believe that Front Mission 3 is the worst possible decision that could be made for an LP ever of all time. And
what of all time? That's ridiculous.
I think there's some excitement, but there's also some people that are like, this is the worst idea ever. The channel is dead. I mean,
rip.
There certainly is the possibility of waiting to see whenever the third one actually gets remade, but the problem there is that there's no, I don't know, there's like, it could be over a year if 2 has to come out.
Yeah, well, the Front Mission 1 didn't have voice acting, right? So 3 and 2 are unlikely to have voice acting, because that would be the deal breaker.
And I did like, you know, scope out a little bit of 1 and see that you know, like it. Anyway, there's a difference between that game and the ones that come later. But yeah, 3 happening at a tentative point in the future. God knows when. But like, yeah, there's that. I also wanted to figure out how to take a look at, like, take a quick look at things from time to time, especially if, you know, committed to a long series, because like I said, I want to go back. I know like Mass Effect is one of those things. I want to go back to Yakuza, all those bits, but those are still going to be like giant chunks. So I want to figure out a way to be able to quick look at stuff in the meantime. So yeah, there's some thoughts.
As your colleague in this industry, I have to say, there's all sorts of things that I don't understand. I'm sure you can say the same about me, but your view of how to deal with the Yakuza series is like the craziest thing I've ever seen in my whole life. I remember talking to you at one point, and you were like implying that you were gonna go through 1 to 6 before going back to 7.
Oh no, I'm gonna do 0, and then I'm just gonna probably continue Like a Dragon. Because
are you halfway through both of those?
I was halfway through 0. Like a Dragon, I was, you know,
a third less.
Nah, yeah, it was. What was it? It was honestly, it was like 3 sessions. It wasn't that bad.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Okay.
It wasn't that.
Well,
bad.
That changes things considerably in my mind's eye.
But I loved it aggressively, and considering how, you know, like basically, it's one of those things where I kind of at the end of that session of Like a Dragon, I kind of went, okay, so there's gonna be some stuff that I'm not going to fully get references to, you know, like Buster Spike Hands Black Guy, or like
Gary Buster Holmes.
Sure, or how the empty lot becomes this giant tower or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, yeah, but who cares? Like, it'll be fine. It's going to be a fun game regardless, and
you know,
I'm not going to sweat that. So I think I just kind of, I'm down to do 0 and then 7, and you know.
I'm in this weird place myself with that series, in that like I followed that series for years, and now after campaigning for them so hard, there's like there are like 3 coming out this year. I still never finished Lost Judgment. I can't keep up.
Now, reminder too that, like, I mean, you know, going through these games, like, I only started Like a Dragon because it was sponsored, right? Like, that was a direct ask from Sega.
I mean, that's a good sponsorship. Hey, you want to play this sick game? Yeah.
So I did that, and now it's like, oh yeah, I started that. It was super cool. I'd be down to pick that back up, you know.
This
I don't
week,
think I don't know that skipping parts of Yakuza is akin to skipping parts of JoJo.
like this week, Atlas is like, "Hey Pat, do you want some money to play Persona 3?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah.
But either way, as a long ass series of games that are pretty similar, right? They're pretty much you're doing the same thing.
Highly similar.
Yeah. I don't quite know, but all I know is, like, first step in front of me is the beginning of the story, and then after that, well, who knows?
Dude, so I got a buddy of mine who decided that he wanted to catch up on the Yakuza series, and just from 1 to fucking whatever, like in a row. like back to back to back to back. I legit don't know how he did it, because like a lot of those games feel like adventure modules for the system. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Like Yakuza 4 is like an expansion pack to Yakuza 3.
They silk-songed each of these games into existence.
And like they are so similar mechanically for like three in a row that you're like, I don't know how you could possibly like play through them back to back. It's crazy. Unless you're really into it. But even I am not that into it. I gotta get
no. I don't think I would want to fucking just go that hard. They need some space to breathe. Yeah.
You know how to play mahjong?
No, but I was learning. I was learning in that fucking. It was shogi was what I was going in on. I wanted to learn more about that. I played more shogi. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
my buddy used mahjong and Yakuza to get good at mahjong in 14.
Interesting. When they said Front Mission 2 was coming out this year, that and then 3 no date, right? So I think I think it's reasonable to say that like the Front Mission 3 remake is going to happen in like 2024 probably, like if that's what we're expecting.
What do I got a date. The date of Front Mission 2 is 2023.
Yeah,
that's its release date.
Yeah, so you gotta reasonably expect it'll be a full year before we get around to that one. It's been burning a hole in my, well, not in my pocket, but it's like brain. In my brain. That thing has been in my fucking brain ever since, you know, we took a look at it, and I'm just like, God damn, have I wanted to scratch this itch forever. So that's kind of what I'm pushing. Like the whole don't LP it bit is like, no, I want to. I really, really, really want to.
It'd be a lot easier for you to LP Front Mission 3 than it would be for me, because you always have Reggie, and there's a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
So pick characters and go.
Waiting for the remake might be the move. Well, we'll have to. I hope we get some news.
I was looking it up while you were talking, and it's like the Front Mission 2 is 2023, and Front Mission 3 is
yeah.
Announced.
Okay. You know what? Maybe I'll give it a second to see if they put a number on that at some point. Maybe. Yeah.
Regardless, what else we got on this show?
Yeah, sorry. I'm in the middle of like literally, I'm just kind of squinting at a page right now, being like, fuck it, FF9.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Wooly, if you LP that game, I would highly recommend you go blondes rather than brunettes.
Maybe fuck it, FF9.
That remake's also being announced this year.
Maybe.
But that'll be next year. Which will make your playthrough perfectly poised to be a comparison piece.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll see. Sorry for everybody going, oh my God, way too fast. Just, or you know, this is what happens when you just you just.
I usually do these things at like the end of like a Friday or Saturday night stream. And it like completely sucks all the momentum out of my show.
Yeah.
Because I'm like sitting there looking at like a fucking weekly chart going, maybe.
But it's also why I like to like not drop until like the bit until it's, you know, I kind of feel like good about going for it. So, because then you have these kind of moments of like, I don't know actually. All right. Anyways, let's get a word from our sponsors in there, because we got to do that because that's important.
The sponsors that we love. any sponsors.
This week, the podcast is sponsored by HelloFresh. Oh, man.
Meal kit.
I just got me a box of HelloFresh just like that, like not even but a day ago. And
I made one just a few nights ago.
Yeah. That was pretty good. Got the shawarma spiced flatbreads with the squash ravioli and the chili.
I made like enchiladas.
It's good.
I made pork enchiladas. And the best part about those pork enchiladas was that even though I set them on fire because I screwed up, they still came out pretty good.
Incredible. Look
I
at that.
should have listened to the directions on the HelloFresh chart more clearly. When they told me to use a baking dish, and instead I used a baking sheet with parchment paper, broiling it at 550 was a bad move.
Yeah, food is not dummy proof.
If I had followed the instructions, it would have been.
It would have been. It would have been. But this is the problem is, you might not. And then there you go. But if you do, folks, you can get yourself a good meal, which, within a margin of error can still taste good, like Pat over here. That is getting your farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered straight to your door. You're getting the box with the little cold pack in it to make sure everything is nice and fresh.
That thing lasts all day.
It really does. You're getting your food cold. You open up the box and it feels like a refrigerator, So
a little bit,
like,
yeah.
That's they got the tech. And then from there you get your packaged meals and then the little instruction card that you take a look at the simple steps. Bam, usually like 5-6 steps and you're good to go.
I should not have freeballed it as an amateur.
Don't freeball it.
Done what it told me to do.
Follow the steps. And then when you follow the steps, you make a great dinner. Tastes good. You get all the credit. And you get to feel like a champion.
Your wife thinks you are cool.
They think you're capable. You're actually... Look at you. You hunted, you gathered, and you provided. You're not going to...
If you're really crafty, you can just hide all the HelloFresh, packaging and just, like, rewrite all of the recipe cards on, like, paper and pretend you're a good cook.
See, there's a good chance your spouse is looking at you right now thinking, like, come wintertime, like, we're going to freeze and die when the saber-toothed tigers come out. And that's not directly what they're thinking, but that's what they're feeling inside.
Yeah.
That's a feeling that's been there, that's still around.
Yeah, that feeling's not going away.
So you got to bust out some HelloFresh every once in a while to be like, hey, don't worry. I can use fire. It'll be okay. Even though you can't. But they got you. Take the credit. Yeah, go to HelloFresh.com/SuperBeast21 and use code SuperBeast21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/SuperBeast21 and code SuperBeast21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh. Thank you very much.
Thanks, HelloFresh. I love you, HelloFresh.
Yeah. Did you oh yeah, also you gotta mention the fact that it takes like less than 15 minutes to make some of these things. And you got over 35 weekly recipes that you can switch in and out according to your preferences. So
yeah, I'm even gonna give a slightly different timer on that, because when I have to cook something from scratch without the card, it can take me like 2 hours to make dinner because I'm
Jesus
crazy.
Christ.
But with the HelloFresh stuff, it takes me like a half hour because I just prep everything and then I do it in the order.
Okay, well, it's supposed to be less than 15 minutes.
What I'm saying is that even if the time is not right for me, it's a massive improvement on my top time.
Okay. Well, take that as you would, folks. There you go. Thanks, HelloFresh.
Love you, HelloFresh.
This week as well, the podcast is sponsored by Bombas, who...
I love you, Bombas.
They're about getting you the cozy clothing. We talk about socks, underwear, t-shirts, the stuff that feels like a fireplace, warm and, perfect for the winter. All of that. Bombus
Yeah, it's
is
laundry day, so I'm wearing my bad pair of socks right now, which I really wish I could replace with Bombus socks.
Yeah. No, they got the high quality materials that feel good, and you don't have the seam, that ugly, annoying part of the socks that always rips first. And of course, they're also known for every item you buy, they donate a pair to someone in need. You can get in there with all the regular underwear, socks, and items that you need for winter. Good to go. Not gonna get all wet and damp and gross outside either. You got the moisture wicking material on it, so it's not, you wear it inside or out and feel good the entire time. They got slippers too.
Really?
Materials like fuzzy Sherpa, merino wool, Pima cotton.
Go for some slippers.
Cashmere even.
It's like walking in the yard in my socks. They get all wet.
Yeah, they got temperature regulating clothing, winter joggers, all of that ready to go. It's the season for it. Get in on that. Comfy clothes at Bombas. And again, they donate a pair for every pair you buy as well. So go to bombas.com/superbeast and use code superbeast for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/superbeast and you use the code superbeast at checkout. Thanks, Bombas.
Thank you, Bombas. I love you, Bombas.
Okay.
Do you think the sponsors would like it if I just made out with a picture of their logo?
I can't stop you because of the entire landmass of our nation. However, I would try to.
Okay.
Wait, I can stop you.
Yeah, you just click the button and
it'll
disappear.
Actually, come to think of it. Yeah, I can. You never
mind.
Oh
no!
Yeah, I can stop you immediately. Okay, we're good.
Oh, the recipe cards. Oh,
go nuts. What's going on this week? All right, how about this?
Yeah.
For the first time I can remember, a balance patch was released for Bayonetta to improve on some of the stuff that we were complaining about.
I was talking to Susie about this a couple days ago. The patch notes reads like somebody listened to our podcast segment and went down every complaint one by one and fixed them.
I never want to give us too much fucking credit for any of that dumb shit. However, the stuff they're fixing on Viola is definitely the shit that we were kind of fucking yelling about.
No, we're not responsible. What happens is we were able to correctly identify the problems that were known internally before the game shipped.
Fair enough. So big stuff for Viola. And here's the thing too. I don't, again, am I wrong, but have they not ever done a combat balance patch?
They have done like minor fixes for like bugs that might have technically affected combat, but no, this is a balance pass.
Yeah. And like after like the population at large have gotten their hands on it is not usually a thing they do. Nonetheless, Viola has had major adjustments to make her better.
Much better.
Yeah, so the big stuff is the block witch time activation is now much larger. You can activate witch time after releasing block. There's just a much more forgiving window for it. Once you pop it, the time it's around for is longer, so it's no longer that completely short and useless feeling version of it.
Completely fucking nonsense, bullshit, piece of shit.
So witch time overall has been improved. The other thing as well is her dodge offset allows her to keep her charge from whatever button you've been holding as you
didn't even realize her dodge offset was broken because it was so bad.
Well, turns out you lost charge whenever you used it in the past. Now you no longer do.
terrible. We missed that one.
Yeah, if you keep blocking, then witch time duration decreases, but overall you get a huge boost to its length. If you activate block while getting attacked, you'll still take damage, but witch time will still get activated.
Mm-hmm.
So bat within style timing.
Yeah.
And then what else did they change? They made it so that her dodge and summoning input for Cheshire from activating Assault Slave maintains invincibility if used in rapid succession. Her charge attacks, yeah, well, we mentioned that actually. And yeah, you can do Wink Slave from her PKP and PKK combos as well.
I want you to correct me if I'm wrong on this, because this is I don't know how I feel about this.
Oh wait, hold on a second. That was wrong character. Anyway, go ahead.
So I'm aware of the reality of development. This game was not in dev for 8 years, right? Not really. I still think it really, really fucking sucks that after like a 5+ year wait, we all blow through the game in like 3 weeks, and it is a significantly lesser experience, only to be fixed 6 weeks later, or what is it, 2 months later, with a series of balance changes that I'm sure were known about before the game shipped, before it went gold. So essentially they finished the game a couple weeks late. And it's like, this sucks.
It doesn't feel good, man. That's not the only things too. Like all those Niflheims we were complaining about
have all been rebalanced.
All rebalanced. Almost every single one on this list is like they added time, they increased the lives, they rebalanced all of those challenges to make a bit more sense. And yeah, like a lot of that, like the part that the fact that it's been such a delayed thing makes it feel extra like how fucking
we went like 400 days with nothing.
How troubled was this development that after all that time it wasn't a matter of like, oh, they got extra polish in, but more like they barely squeezed it out the door with 8 years, of folks waiting. Is just like,
it's like, yeah, they restarted it 3-4 times. I don't care.
The public doesn't know necessarily, the story of how this went.
Sure. So
there's always a reason. Yeah, there's always a reason for something like that. But that's exactly it. Is like there's this type of patch doesn't ever happen because usually things come out much more polished from them.
It's also frustrating because, like, okay, you're playing Mass Effect 3, right? So you're playing the third game in a franchise that every single one of those got significant patches, updates, DLC, onwards. And the version of Mass Effect 3 that you're playing right now is a significantly improved version of the one that came out. Mm-hmm. But that kind of could be assumed to be the case based on prior games. Platinum games don't get massive gameplay overhauls. That they don't. That doesn't happen. It comes out and this is solid. This is how it's going to be. This is how it works. Okay, so now I'm in a position with Platinum games. Like, should I wait for the re-release or the fucking 1.0? For fuck's sake, we spent 2 or 3 weeks talking about how you felt about Hades and going through it because you spent so much time in the early access version. I didn't expect for me to feel that way with Bayonetta.
If there's a shot that Viola will get new weapons, actually improve, major changes. I mean, so the changes we've listed are big, but I'm talking about the flow of how it feels to play as her in a mission changing. That could convince me to want to go and see how that feels and take it for another spin. As it stands, the only reason I'd pop it back in would be to play as Jean.
Yeah, it's really strange, especially remember the interview we read where
and the witch trials, which are apparently really good. Yeah,
right. You remember the stop complaining Camilla interview? Mm-hmm. It's like you recognize that some of the fucking complaints were about stuff you were planning to fix when you said that out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It must have been going through the approval process at that point in time.
And QA process.
For sure.
Like, this sucks. Like, it's really stupid because, hey, if you pick up Bayo 3, particularly playing through the Viola sections, you're going to have a better time than we did. But as people who supported the game on the day one, after this ridiculous wait, like, it feels like I got bamboozled in that I got to play test the changes.
I mean, it's better than the game not getting any changes whatsoever, certainly.
It is.
But it is
but
very...
also, I mean, the name of the studio, Platinum Never Loses Its Luster.
Well,
it's starting to tarnish.
I mean, we did. Yeah, we've been fucking talking about that statement, unfortunately, not aging well, which is the most ironic thing in the world is the nature of the statement is describing how actually it doesn't age. You know. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so yay to, I guess, the game getting better.
Yes, particularly for people still playing or about to purchase it or getting it on sale at a later date, etc.
Now, if only someone could sneak in there and just find a couple of cutscene files and just
remove them.
Just shift delete, and then, you know, oops, what happened? File not found. Okay, credits roll. Damn, what a sick fight.
It's editing is such a cool like part of games and film and books that it always, like, there's always this little devil in the back of my head. I'm like, would this be improved if this whole section was just gone? Not replaced, not moved.
The simplest version of it. Yep.
Just gone.
Entirely taken out. Sometimes, yes.
I bet you could totally cut those cutscenes harder and like let's say you cut what happens to Jeanne, just cut it, and then you end the game go, I wonder what happened to Jeanne. Would that be better than the full cutscene?
If you cut the desert as a whole out and then just suddenly had Ball and Malphus in your party, like, I'd be like, that's weird, and wow, this is a bit shorter than I expected, but okay. Like, on we go to Paris, you know, like, I just as a whole, there would be absolutely fucking nothing, no love lost. So anyways, Bayo got patched. Okay. Other things going on. As we were broadcasting,
something happening now?
This very day. I don't know if you remember the last time we talked about War Thunder.
I fucking sure don't, brother.
War Thunder was the game that had people arguing about the weaponry and tanks and shit, people leaked classified
military
documents.
Crimes. Yep.
In order to win arguments.
Did it happen again?
It happened again. It happened again. Some fuckers on the War Thunder forums last time had to get their banned and shit deleted and everything because the company Gaijin was like, for the love of God, can you please stop committing war crimes on our forums
treason on our
for our
forums.
games? Exactly. Someone else in the middle of a fucking argument has gone on to discuss and accidentally, quote unquote, leak information about F-16s, AMR, AAM missiles, just like
listen,
all of it, and it's like and the person was defending themselves, saying, "Hey, anything that is 40 years old is allowed. It should be okay to discuss stuff from a certain time frame ago."
But it works like that, man.
But but the stuff that they were sharing was very much not within that, and was within the newer 30-year-olds or less collection of data that was restricted. So yeah, again, just like breaking the law on military intelligence to win arguments on your game forum.
It's a very old-fashioned term, but loose lips sink ships. And usually that like mentality was supposed to be like, don't talk to your non-military buddies. Don't talk about it at the bar. Don't tell your wife or your husband, right? Not don't just go blasting out info on the fucking, like on a megaphone to a bunch of military dorks.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, if you gotta win the argument, you gotta win the argument, right? Just hard cut to like the other line where just, you know, America's enemies, so to speak, are on the computer just going, you don't know what you're talking about. Those planes aren't even up, like they're not even accurate. They just deliberately start instigating troll fights.
Yeah, so yeah. Russian saboteurs have moved to video game forums to troll American servicemen into spilling the beans.
You know, Chinese military forum people just trolling the shit out of angry dudes in uniform, being like, no, you don't understand. God damn it. I'm uploading the file right now. Look. Look at how the missiles work. It's accurate. How dare you? What did you say to me, you little shit?
So silly.
Don't you know I'm a 5-star general? Oh, man. The best. It's great. I love that. I hope it keeps happening. This is awesome.
Also hope it keeps happening.
This is the funnest way for a horrible military compromise to occur over the pettiest stakes possible. Keep it up. Speaking of petty,
let's hit the petty. I love it. What do you got? What do you got?
You know, when I think back on all the controversies over the years, all the shit that people have talked to me, all the arguments we've had, I think I got it all wrong, because really all I needed to say was, hey man, there will be those who say that they won that argument, but really they won, but so did I. We both won. I didn't lose. I'm not slowly melting and turning into what the fuck was it?
Corn cob.
A corn cob. God bless Wizards of the Coast for adding the DLC to the story from last week, because we did our best, and I tried to talk about what was happening with OGL, and
complicated.
It was complicated, but I think we got the gist of it correct, in that their open game license was essentially going to be updated to force all people to basically concede ownership of their property in tabletop derivative form. And, you know, they were going to just try to roll out this new system that would get them paid. Well, obviously the backlash was very, very loud. And prior to this actual update, Wizards of the Coast employees leaked to the internet that, hey guys, they're still considering doing all of this. They anticipated some backlash. But their whole thing is, as long as the subscription numbers to their D&D Beyond program don't go down, it's considered a win. So they wanted to basically just be like, we'll ride it out. Everyone will get upset, but as long as our subs stay high on specifically D&D B, it's gonna be fine. And
the reason for that was because they would the suits were only looking at financial data that they could get like on a week-to-week basis in every meeting. Nothing more nebulous than that. And the only data they could get week-to-week, day-to-day was the D&D Beyond. So they look, it's fine. The numbers aren't down. Well, this leaker said, hey, did you know you could hurt them by canceling your D&D Beyond subscription?
Since that's the only numbers they're looking at.
Well,
and everyone went, oh, Okay. So yeah, fast forward a little bit, and all of that has obviously imploded to the point where they're like, okay, fine, we concede. We will delay this update, and they've come out with their statement explaining that yeah, they're gonna try to.
We rolled a critical miss. We rolled a 1 on that.
Yeah, and so the phrasing, which, god damn it, not now, you stupid thing. Don't.
So hold on. Let me go grab it because I fucking was talking about it earlier in the week. It's so disgusting.
I'm getting fucking.
We're gonna let's race. Find the fucking.
Shit.
Oh god. Oh, I'm scrolling. Oh, I shit post a lot. Oh, my Twitter's horrible.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm going back. Yeah. Okay. I got it right over there.
I'm just
Where'd it go? And there it is. Okay. So now a couple of last thoughts. First, we won't be able to release the new OGL today because we need to make sure we get it right, but it is coming. Second, you're going to hear people say that they won and we lost because making your voices heard forced us to change our plans. Those people will only be half right. They won, and so did we.
So
the pettiest official statement I have ever heard. I want to say, like, from a corp, that's the pettiest I think I've ever heard. Incredible.
So every
unbelievable
single part of
5-star.
So I want to point out every single part of that statement is a lie. There were versions of that new OGL that went out alongside contracts. Like, that thing was being signed on. Like, and as you can expect, this has solved nothing, and numbers still go down. And while this has been ongoing, Paizo, the people behind Pathfinder and Starfinder, and who also happened to be the people who wrote the original OGL at Wizards of the Coast, have gotten their lawyers and have teamed up with Kobold Press and like fucking every other third-party tabletop thing, and they're going, we're gonna make all of our shit open game license, and we are gonna rewrite everything to fucking not use D&D anymore, and you're gonna be using our shit and it'll be free, you fuck with it. And also, we are going to fight Wizards of the Coast till they die in court if need be, because the Pathfinder Paizo one is extra crazy because it's the lead designers who were at Wizards of the Coast when it was written who came up with the idea, and the law firm working for Paizo contains the lawyer who drafted the OGL for Wizards of the Coast. Going, yeah, no, I didn't write it that way.
Interesting.
You can't do that.
Interesting. Okay. It has just come to my attention. I did a quick scroll, and it appears that Wizards of the Coast's quote has not yet been tagged on Scrub Quotes, so I just made sure to go rectify that by tweeting at Scrub Quotes. Good.
It is a wild and rare situation where a legal dispute somehow manages to involve the person who wrote the contract,
the fucking thing to begin with. And what's crazy too is I've seen people bringing up the fact that, like, when it comes to like Hasbro, like, they've been wildly lenient in other cases. Like with Transformers, there's people that literally just sell Transformers that don't have the name of the like, it doesn't say Decepticon or you know, Autobot. It doesn't have the name of the robot, but it's identical as a figure, and they've let people get away with that for years, you know. So it's just different branches being weird about it, and obviously Wizards trying to figure out how to squeeze whatever they can out of the situation. Yeah, the people who are, when you see that type of statement after the type of week they've had, it tells you something about the character of the boardroom.
Oh, I have a small detail being brought forth from a gentleman in chat. They work at they run a game store. Can't even order Pathfinder core rulebooks. They're sold out nationwide.
How about that?
This is a really crazy, silly one because like D&D and Pathfinder and all that are direct, highly similar competitors. So it's much like the video game industry where if you fuck up something, there's somebody who is just like you,
Right, waiting over
ready
there.
to swoop in by doing nothing.
Yep. You drop the ball and we're ready to pick it back up for whoever is ready to spend their money. Also, a solid amount of people wrote in to talk about how sick GURPS is. So now there's that.
GURPS is cool.
Now there's that world.
People who love GURPS are GURPS for life. I do think the funniest part about this, I saw somebody who tweeted at me, which was like, Dungeons and Dragons and Wizards of the Coast decided that they were going to embark on some like draconian rules-based malarkey with the most anal retentive rules-based community that exists. Dungeons and Dragons nerds.
Yeah.
Like the word rules lawyer is invented for D&D.
Also,
what a bad mismatch of targets.
Also, as stated last week, we are litigating on imagination.
Yes.
You know, there's still that.
What was the clip title? You owe me 25% of your imagination.
Something to that effect. Yeah. So that's there you go. They're you know, hey, they won, but so did we, right?
No.
Okay.
I would be very, very like I saw Legal Eagle did a video on this, which shows like just how big it blew up. I can foresee Critical Role on their next season using a non-D&D rule set and just everybody just moving it away.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it's that hard to do it.
I mean, as somebody who played Kingmaker, which is a Pathfinder RPG, Pathfinder system's good. And hey, guess what? It's very similar to Dungeons and Dragons. It's highly similar.
I will say this. I mean, D&D is an institution that's been around for fucking decades, literally, like, you know, before we're born type shit. So, in the end...
Critical Role started on Pathfinder. Well...
Okay. But this is like of all the bullshit that like has been happening with Wizards of the Coast over the years, where you catch a wind of it, like Magic the Gathering bullshit and stuff. Like
Magic is so fucked.
Right, but Magic is constantly fucked. Therefore, it's kind of in the state that it's in. Right, like people who are into Magic are aware that the fuckery is a persistent thing and play nonetheless. So it's not a surprise. This is the biggest, dumbest, and worst story I've heard about Dungeons and Dragons in 30 years. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't think of any other thing, or I just wasn't paying attention because it didn't come across my desk outside of people not liking 4th edition, you know?
Hey, how much do you know about 4th edition?
They got very quickly over to 5.
Do you know what happened when 4th edition came out?
Not fully. I forget.
People at the company that were not happy with 4th edition left, and they made their own company, and that company was called Paizo, and that company put out Pathfinder.
Well, there you go. There you go. Right. So yeah, like it just, you know, this is the biggest, dumbest thing they've done that I've heard about in fucking decades. Anyway,
it's also really strange because D&D 3 and 5 used the OGL, but 4th edition used a fucked up open games license that was actually similar to this new fucked up one, which didn't work for 4, so they rolled it back to the old one with 5.
Oh, and that's how you know, they stayed winning, right?
Right.
Everybody wins.
We
Yeah.
all won, guys. We all won.
I'm not owned.
I'm not owned. I'm not.
Anyways, yeah. So, good luck to those folks. Hey, well
No.
there's
No, not good luck to those folks. I disagree.
Okay, well, anyway, I don't know. It's insert transition, but I guess speaking of garbage that you can use for your own benefit.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's go with that.
Let's do that.
The swan song of the Stadia, which has been discontinued, as we know officially, is they're going to release the drivers for the controller so that you can use it on other Bluetooth devices as of next week.
Hey, that's all right.
That's all right.
I
mean, controller quality notwithstanding, I support that. That's a good move.
I will say, as much of a laughable shit joke the Stadia was and how awful it was, I have to say, the way that it has been handled by refunding everybody their bullshit and then making it so that your controller works on other stuff.
Now you own a controller.
Yeah, okay. No harm, no foul, I guess.
At the end of the day, you got a free Bluetooth controller out of the ordeal. You know, maybe some time wasted if you decided to progress in a Stadia version of anything, but yeah.
And the people with those Destiny and Red Dead accounts got their fucking shit transferred. I don't know if you saw that, but that happened.
Oh yeah, they let you transfer out. Nice.
Yeah, the steps were taken to transfer out.
Damn, you know what, dude? Stadians actually do stay winning.
No, they just didn't lose.
I guess they won and we won.
Oh, fuck. The phrasing of it is so specific. Some people say that we lost, but we didn't. Like holy shit, who talks like that?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying earlier about the character of the board. You know, like because your PR person could have looked at that and went, "What the fuck?" No, and then reworded it to be like, you know, we've come up with some changes that we think. Like, whatever, some bullshit about everybody, like, benefiting together. Some shit, but just the part where, you know, there's, like, we're arguing with the internet, and, like, the people who say we lost fucking don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So we say we won together.
If you're in a company, you write the thing, and then you hand it to PR, and they clean it, and then you hand it to legal, and they clean it, then they hand it back to you. They seem to have skipped the PR part on this one. Because, like, no decent public relations person would ever allow this kind of, like, pointed, aggressive, like, you didn't win. You didn't win. You think, like, you're hemorrhaging subscribers right now. You're posting cringe. You're losing subscribers.
Wizards of the Coast be like, no contest. Yeah, it's fine. Nothing happened. Don't worry about it. It's all gonna be fine. Goddamn. All right. Well, anyways, get your Stadia controllers up and working on your Bluetooth because that's great. I support that. It's good. Alongside that, couple other little tidbits. Mile High Taxi. A little indie game popped up. Someone's popped up, and it's going to be Steam wish listed. But what if Crazy Taxi on Coruscant?
Sure. Got it.
Done.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane and stupid that's like Crazy Taxi themselves as a franchise. Sega didn't just like Crazy Taxi Future, you know?
Yeah.
Like just flying cars pick up your literally with the same style and fucking green haired cab driver and all of that shit and people going like, hey, I'm over here. an announcer that's practically like, hey, like it's almost all there, except it's an indie game and you fly and drop people off on flying platforms. Yep.
Hey, do you have that Lost Ark shit in there?
Lost Ark fucked
do.
up and accidentally banned a bunch of people while trying to ban some bots.
Which, they were banned for extremely long periods of inactivity. So I imagine most of those people didn't care that much or didn't know until it came out that if you had linked your Steam account, it would also VAC ban you.
Big uh-ohs.
Oops.
Big oops.
They came out and said, yeah, we were banning bots for inactivity. And during that massive sweep, it targeted people's accounts by accident because when Lost Ark came out, Lost Ark is free.
Mm-hmm.
So a shit ton of people downloaded it, played it for a couple hours, went, I don't like this, deleted it, left their character, never touched it again. And somehow those are being flagged as, oh, that's a bot. That's a compromised account or whatever the fuck.
The first article I saw about it was the fact that they're working on fixing it and shit. VAC ban is the Valve anti-cheat system.
Which means it would affect you in any other game that uses VAC, like Counter-Strike or Team Fortress.
Now, assuming they have a direct line to be like, hey, please unban these people from the system-wide, thing. I assume it's an easy fix, right?
Here's hoping. I'm crossing my fingers.
Yeah. Oh, you can actually check your VAC ban status on a website. Interesting. Anyway, that was one of those bits. How bad are bots in FF14?
Bad. There's two types. There's the ones that are going to try and sell you gold, in which case when you click on somebody's name in chat, there's one option, and it's report for real money trading harassment. And then the second one is 35 million black mages will be underneath the map in one location, insta-killing mobs so that they can get gil or crystals to put up on the market board and sell so that they can get gil, which they can transfer up to real money traders to sell. It creates a very weird situation in which, like, for example, crystals are something you need to craft items in FF14. Bots give you the best prices on them because they're made it.
Yeah. Okay. And it's real life currency you're making off of this operation, so the incentive.
Well, after a couple turns through the system.
Sure, but it's there is a direct incentive in that way. The game itself doesn't have like anything that is like an auction house that is facilitating that type of shit, though, right? Like that has to be done.
Totally. Has the market board
For real cash?
No,
not just
for items.
Yeah, no. I mean the transition from real cash into
No, it does not. So
that
the way
you have
that
to go through back channels
works,
and shit, I imagine.
The way that it works is the bots grab a ton of gil or a ton of items to sell for gil, then they transfer the money to a fucking new account. The new account then contacts you, and you go, hey, I'll pay you $48 on your website if you show up and give me this amount of gil. Then the guy shows up, gives you that amount of gil, and usually deletes their character. And then it's a coin flip as to whether or not 6 months down the line, the guy who's in charge of tracking that nonsense finds out and bans your account for life and makes it so that you've lost tens of thousands of hours on your game and will likely never play it. So yeah, don't buy gold in MMOs.
That's my next question was going to be, like, this sounds like something that ruins every game that it happens to, because I know it's a big part of MMOs in general, but is it one of those things that is like almost like a necessary evil in that everyone kind of does it anyway?
No, it is not.
Okay, it's just as bad as it sounds.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, okay.
The other thing, there's another type of like real money trading nonsense that happens where people can't clear certain raids. They're like, well, I want the fancy title, I want the fancy gear, I want the fancy mount.
Yep.
So they'll give their account to a guy to play for them.
Classic.
And get it. And so you see people running around with the title that means they beat the hardest thing in the game, and they can't fucking play.
Right.
Like, they don't know what they're, and you're like, give me a break. That one's crazy double against the rules, because you're not supposed to give your account to somebody. And again, if they like, also people could just rob you if you do that. Like, here's my account
transfer
information.
your shit away. Yeah.
Here's how you log it in. Hey, where'd all my stuff go? Right? Yeah, don't give your account to people. Don't buy guild. You don't have to do that. That's stupid.
I mean, prove it. Prove you didn't like temporarily move to Moscow for a week and then back.
Yeah, that's actually, I mean, they get people. You can.
Yeah, I mean, if you're fucking selling your account for clout, like, you deserve everything you get and then some. But you know, I always talked about that kid back in the day, Hustle Kid at the arcade, that was like, yo, give me $20 and I'll max out your Gauntlet Legends character.
Yeah.
And then
that's part of the thing. In other games, you know? It's like expected or even directly okayed. Like in WoW, you can turn real money into gold in game. There's a path for it.
That's my thing. It's like there's a system where Blizzard encourages that, right?
Yeah, which creates a weird mental thing. Oh, that reminds me. I have a fun network story to tell you. You know how we always complain about rollback and Japan's view of the internet?
Mm-hmm.
So the patch came out last week for 14, which caused absolute catastrophic lag and server crashes. Just absolute unplayable for like 4 days. Like, everyone's teleporting, you're crashing all. I did a stream in which I crashed out and I'm teleporting all over. And they said, "Hey guys, well, we're going to work on hot fixes for this. Don't worry. We're going to fix it." And people that are smarter than me dug through to discover what happened. Well, you see, they moved from one network compression to another. A network compression which they tested extensively in Japan.
Yeah.
They used a type of algorithm called Oodle called stateless Oodle UDP.
Nice.
Then they moved to something called Oodle TCP, which ironically enough doesn't have anything to do with TCP.
Mm-hmm.
But which is lower latency and better speed. However, if Oodle TCP loses a single packet, it then stops and reconnects in order to reestablish a correct connection, which results in a catastrophic bout of lag for up to 10 seconds or a crash. So they tested this in Japan, in which
worked
it went
fine.
Great. And then they rolled it out to every server in the world, and everywhere but Japan had their servers and data centers going down, people not being able to play the game at all. And the hot fix was them rolling it back. They just rolled it back, which sucks, because if somebody had tested this in the Americas or in Europe or in Australia, they would have been able to go, yeah, this isn't going to work. Let's not spend months working on this new network tech. It's not going to work. But instead, there's like a bunch of technical time that somebody put in on the game that just got thrown in the trash because they never even thought to test it in the Americas.
Well, why would we? It's fine. Works for me. Works here. And in fact, okay, guys, I know, like, fine, let's send it to Osaka. Let's see how it does.
Okay, we'll send it to Osaka.
Fine. We'll see how it does, you know. I mean, look, God, if you want, we can reach out to fucking Okinawa and see what happens. But we're not. Come on, guys. Let's get out of here. You know, like just that's incredible.
It was this really weird thing because the patch rolled out and like the game was like bordering on unplayable. Like I played a PvP match and I was playing it in 5-second bursts every 30 seconds, and just everyone's dead stopped for 10 seconds, and then you know when it tries to catch up, and then dead stop like the whole match. But the Japanese players weren't complaining. That's weird. How come they weren't?
Man. The weirdest part is that when it comes to network testing, which is really, really complicated and difficult, right? But you had to do it for some consoles for compliance purposes, of course. And the testers, people who understood how to run them, were far and few in between, but because it required you to understand how to use a number of a software suite, essentially, that was all about mimicking bad connection, mimicking packet loss, mimicking all kinds of different types of errors. You can connect to one server, but you can't verify on another, or whatever the case is. And then you do it room-wide in some cases on multiple accounts, all in different configurations. It's something you have to do, and it's something you like.
No, you don't.
Okay.
Well,
it's something you had to do for some games on certain consoles, but the ability to be like, how bad is it in not Japan, exists and did exist back when I was in the fucking industry. There's software suites that do that. There's ways to emulate. You want to go fucking shitty Middle America Comcast? Fine, we'll put that on and emulate someone in that situation playing the game and see how bad it gets. You could do that if you wanted to fucking bother, if you gave a shit. It's not like they can't.
I remember hearing stories from everybody I've ever known in testing, in which somebody goes, "Hey, yeah, you should test this. This needs to be looked at. You can't just roll this out." And somebody goes, "No, it's fine."
Yeah, yeah, because the last 5 times they did that, it was fine. So they go, yeah, and it's all good. It's like, okay, well, my signature is not on the approval for rolling this out. That's it. So at the end of the day, when it goes, who signed off on this? I didn't.
I still remember talking to the gentleman who I knew for a fact had worked on HD Remix. And I asked them, how the fuck did you miss Zangief not being able to do his super from one side of the screen? And they looked at me and got kind of pissed off and like, I didn't. Somebody above them just said, nah, it's fine. Zangief just can't do his super facing left.
Show me a database. Show me a database. I'll tell you a story every time. More than anything else, I'll tell you the exact story of development. Down to the regression time and how quickly a bug got turned around and how early it was entered and how late it got fixed, if it ever did,
Are the fun ones the ones you see like day 3 added?
Dude,
and it's like 600 days without being addressed?
No, the fun ones are the ones that go in on like day 3 and then have like 80 branch bugs because it becomes apparent.
Oh, because they never fixed the first one, and now it's causing problems.
And everything, like, because bug within a bug is technically not supposed to be reported, but sometimes it's at such a level where it's like, oh, these are linked, and it's like the entire process of test has been people going, yeah, it turns out that all of that's all linked to this one here.
Maybe you should fix it. No.
Yeah. So
should we fix that?
You click that fucking down arrow and you just watch it go. And you're just like, oh boy, here we go. Yeah. Tell me a story, man.
Fucking nonsense.
Well, speaking of rollback, Xrd is getting it on soon. 4 days.
Like all of a sudden they announce it and they're like, it's this week.
It's ready to go. Yep. So January 20th. You can jump in on that.
Tell me about Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
When's Dragon Ball?
I mean, anything ArcSys is in charge of themselves. They have their it's their schedule, right? But
The Dragon Ball.
the moment you have to go through all these other publishers, it's another deal.
It's also Rev 2, also, right?
It's Rev 2, yes. It's
That means all Guilty Gears that matter will be available with good rollback netcode.
Yeah, I think it's Rev 1 and Rev 2, actually. So not signed, but that's okay, because...
That's fine.
Yeah, none of y'all were doing Sin Beak Driver loops anyways. Yeah, and, you know, beyond that, just a little bit, but, like, I'm someone who loves Samurai Kirby more than life itself.
That's
and,
true. You have a problem.
It's great. It's back in Return to Dreamland Deluxe. I'm very, very happy about that. Now when you do it super tight, you can fucking cut through a whole bunch of other enemies before you kill your main.
Changing that to like be a cloud-based like
ranked
fight against
online
lots of people is pretty smart.
Yeah, I like the idea of like you cut through everyone else that was slower than you, you know, to get that fucking top ranking for like a worldwide overall, versus mode type of thing. But that's dope. And of course, you know, Return to Dreamland was a good game. They all are, you know? So, if you care about it like I do, go check it out.
If I don't care about it like you do,
should
I care about it?
At this point, I think anyone's mind has been made up on Kirby. You're either you're in or you're out from day one. You know,
I know what Kirby is.
Yeah, if you're not a Kirby person, you're out immediately. It's a very clean divide on that. Anyways, let's take some letters.
Hey, if you want to send in a letter, send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. Your letter may sound like this, but good.
James says, Dear Wooly Spike Madden and Pat Timmy Boivin, James here. You recently discussed rage quitting in online games, and I have to admit I'm guilty of it. I've been playing Magic the Gathering Arena on my phone as a daily ritual. My remarks are that, while it's a satisfying free-to-play game that doesn't aggressively try to get you to dump money if you don't want to, earning cheap coins can get you anything you want if it's just collecting cards, and it's somewhat easy to accomplish. Recently, I've been frequently forfeiting games when things are taking a bad turn, usually in the early rounds. Being a card game, a lot is dependent on luck, especially with the opening hand. For those unfamiliar with Magic the Gathering, there's a mulligan rule that lets you redraw the first hand at penalty of one less card. It can be done multiple times with less each time. You can expect it would be frustrating to get garbage after 4 mulligans and still have to start significantly behind. Even if you get a good hand, you can hope that there's a chance with... Anyway, it gets worse and gets more annoying.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Yeah. It goes on,
right
but
there.
Yeah.
A forfeit button is not a rage quit.
Thank you. This was going to go on to describe the situation and how the person was like, basically, I rage quit when the matches seem like they're fucked from the jump.
Yeah,
that is not a rage quit.
That happens in cards.
A forfeit is absolutely not a rage quit. I jumped back in on Teppen. Actually, the one thing I've been waiting for forever finally happened. Virgil is in the game, though, as a skin. So fucking bullshit on that. But
get your dick ready.
You know what? I got stupid lucky and got it within 2 pack buys. And I'm like, I deserve this. This is karma coming back around to give me what I fucking earned. You're goddamn right. So I got.
Yeah, it was about time. You really felt it. It's coming.
It's already minute now. No, it's ridiculous because they had like Cammy and all the other great whatever Phoenix Wright, all these other things that it's like instead of making it a character, they make it a skin. And Virgil's in the game now, and it's a fucking skin. And I'm like, God damn it. And I just got ridiculously lucky on that. So yeah, all that. Though, and like if you fucking get a a situation where you crush them fast enough in a game like that, people will just be like, yeah, I forfeit, I surrender, and that's fine. That's normal. That's totally okay. The problem with a rage quit is that it denies you that victory because the person's too salty to lose. So they're quitting the game before it can register a win or a loss and makes it like a match didn't happen.
Nah, that's rage quitting. Come on.
You know? So at the end of the day, when you like the fact that you have to click the forfeit button and then it goes, okay, well, we'll register that. Totally not what we're talking about.
Yeah, when I played Runeterra, I'd start with like every now and then I'd mulligan the whole thing, and I'm starting with like every card needs like 5 mana. Like, oh cool, I'm going to lose. Like, yeah, I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, I'm going to die. There's no solution here.
If the
unless they also had the same thing, and then you wait for them to play a card, and you're like, oh, well, time to die.
Right. If the result of getting, if the result of someone quitting was you just beat their body up until it says KO, it'd be lame. But at the end of the day, at least you would still get your win for that. Right. The whole problem with this is the person is denying you that. It's low tier God yelling, "You don't get my points. Yeah. I'm not giving you my fucking points." And then quitting and then canceling the match, you know? In any other case, a game that needs to have a end state registered before it can call a win or a loss is one where the rage quit counts, is where you deny that. So yeah, don't worry about it.
Snap is like super fucking excellent.
A lot of people talking about it, so I hear.
So I have a problem with Marvel Snap. Do you want to hear it? It's because... You know how you feel about Teppen? Where you're like, man, if not for these Capcom characters, I probably wouldn't have been interested.
Yeah.
Right? But then you end up liking the game.
Yep.
I'm having the reverse situation with Marvel Snap. Where the idea of like, look, you got a gold Mr. Reed Richards. I'm like, I'm going to barf. Don't, like, fuck.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like, at this point, I'm so oversaturated with Marvel shit that I'm like, I want I want Wolverine, Blade, and, like, a different Wolverine.
Sure. I'll take T'Challa. I'll take, a Bishop or Silver Surfer.
That reminds me, you know how I talked about Runeterra and how Runeterra is like aggressively you don't have to spend money?
Mm-hmm.
That has actually supposedly become a small issue in that the game makes so little money because it's so easy to play it for free that it's not getting the resources that Riot's other projects get.
Oh, no. That's unfortunate. Too generous.
Yeah, oops.
Damn. Well... I guess it's time to go revoke the rules and make a 1.1 where, like, I don't know, where now everyone has to pay you money for nothing.
No, the solution was in the card game. They said where you'll keep your cards forever. They said we're instituting a new format in which cards more than a year old can't be played.
Oh, wait, did they do the cycling out of packs?
No.
Oh, that's that's it.
So Runeterra is avoiding the problem Hearthstone had. Hearthstone had the thing of like anything over 18 months can just go right in the trash. Suck it, which nobody liked.
Yeah.
Runeterra is saying there's going to be one version that is going to be everything forever, and there's going to be another version which is cards of a certain age. And the reasoning they've given, it's probably bullshit. The reason's very likely money. But the reasoning they gave does have some truth to it, which is when it's everything forever, some decks will live forever.
Mm-hmm.
They will never go away because they're too good and there's nothing that can be done about them.
Yeah, over time, like some of the old Teppen meta stuff that like ages out is like they never got around to patching that to fix it. But it's gone now because the part of this deck that was necessary has been aged out. So, yay, thank God for that. But overall, I hate that whole condition too because it puts the game on a sliding scale of monetization, you know?
More than that, it puts the game on a sliding scale of time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because that's the it's Because when I was playing Runeterra, I was playing Runeterra literally every single day for like 6 months, right? And then I left it, and I left it because I knew that when I came back, I'd be able to build up. Like, there's some decks that are just generally good forever. I'd be able to make one of those, and then I'd be able to play for 2 weeks and get a new meta deck, and I'd be good to go. But that means that I wasn't playing every single day, looking at skins, looking at the shop, looking at
right. Yeah. No. Anyway, and like the stuff now where it's like instead of adding, because I got into Teppen when it was adding characters still, but I guess it's at a point where it's difficult to balance a whole new character, and it's also less financially incentivizing because a rare skin that people really, really want is going to, have them spend way more on that than they are on a new character that's free. So why add when you can just fucking do that, Anyway, yeah.
I'm now going to click on a video. I'm looking at Marvel Snap. It is very colorful. It is, oh my god, is that Teppen? Is it just Teppen?
Is it? I don't know. I know Jimmy Bones plays a bunch of that shit.
Oh my god, it's...
Yeah? Does it just look like Teppen?
It's definitely a lot closer to Teppen than it is to the others.
Is there timing lines and attacks?
I don't know, but there's like 3 lanes.
Okay.
That you're playing cards on.
Because I would say the timing aspect, which, again, love or hate, is the most unique part of that.
People in the chat, of course, are telling me it's nothing like Teppen, but
okay.
I'm a baby. I'm looking at it. It seems like a...
Damn. Yeah.
Was it like that? Chat. Was it?
Artifact?
I don't know what that is.
I care more about Capcom than I do about Marvel, so I guess that's that.
Can somebody mod Marvel Snap so that they replace every single Marvel character with a Capcom character? Can somebody do that? I would really like that.
All right, let's take one over here from no name given. Dear multimedia judges, I can't say for certain what YouTube's flagging system looks like, but I know what TikTok looks like. My fiance worked for one of the processing centers, so this is in regards to humans actually seeing a flagged video. A real person is involved with the second pass. They look over and judge whether or not it is clean or mature content or ban-worthy. The problem, though, is that the problem with the real person is capitalism. They have a quota of 250 videos per hour. Some employees...
Oh my god!
Some employees review videos at higher speeds. Others just agree with the bot. The unspoken policy is to handle as many videos as possible in any way possible.
Okay, so that's...
TikTok.
That is... Hold on a second. Per hour. So 60 times 60.
What, quick maths?
250. You have 14 and a half seconds.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to go the other way around. I'd say that's 2,000 videos a day or TikToks a day.
That's 14 seconds per video. So, I'm using huge air quotes here, by the way. A human looked at it. 2 things. 1, 14 seconds does not qualify as a human. And 2,
TikTok.
Yeah, sure, but I doubt. Yeah, you're right. YouTube. The ability for let's take Adam, right? Adam does hour-long movie reviews.
Sure.
And you have 90 seconds to check to see if that thing is good.
Right. And so this is where I'd say, because TikToks are meant to be these short little clips or whatever, you have that whole system, which is already too many and stupid because there's TikToks that last 2 minutes plus. But in a YouTube hour-long review situation, they probably don't even have that much. They probably just look at a script of text and then go to the infringing moment in the auto caption.
Well, you know what the trick is, right? All the new rules are don't say fuck within the first 7 seconds of the video.
Sure, yada yada.
Don't show your asshole. And it's every single one of us that does this fucking dumbass LP content, we have an intro that runs for 30 seconds to a minute on the front of every single fucking video.
In a lot of them, yes. In some cases, it still isn't good. It still is a problem, especially if I'm doing algorithm clips.
Wooly, don't say fuck. Fucking don't say fuck.
Yeah. And it's like, all right, man, the thumbnail of the clip is just the word racism. But
all right, you know what?
if you want to,
that is what happened to Race Wars, right?
that is what happened. Yeah. No,
that's like that. I can't even blame, because even if you had like a person to sit down and have like a meeting with, and you're like, no, you see, it's because it's about they look at you and just be like, come on.
Yeah. So anyway, that's that side of it. Okay, let's see. Here's one coming in from X, who says, "Hi, Willie and Pat. Cursed contests. Weekly Shonen Jump has an almost yearly contest called the Golden Future Cup, where 5 to 6 rookie mangaka publish their one-shots, and the winner is granted a serialization in Jump. Sounds fine for getting new hit series, but so far the contest has been infamous because of how cursed the winners have been, with only 2 out of the 14-ish winners having actually become successful, while the others completely flopped. And in 2022, year 1 of the winners finally started their series called Ruri Dragon, which got a lot of hype and popularity. After 6 chapters, the author got sick and the series was put on permanent hiatus." Any examples of cursed contests that always seem to go wrong? Well, that sucks. I mean, the thing that comes to mind for me right off the bat is the other day someone was talking about American Idol winners.
Yeah,
and
dude, those people.
I Googled it, and I saw a list of like what must have been like 40 people, and I'm like, I recognize that one. There's that guy, and there's that girl, and like every single one of them just ceases to exist. And it's like, oh yeah, you're on season 800 of this show. Of course, it doesn't matter, right? The longer that goes on, the less any of that stardom promise is real.
Yeah, people in the chat are correctly pointing out, for the longest time, there's the Madden curse. You get put on the box of Madden.
On the box of the game,
something's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's cursed or not, but that definitely did happen like 10 different times, where you got put on the box of Madden and you injured yourself.
Yeah, that's pretty cursed. That's no good. Yeah. I watched From Justin to Kelly as a part of a suffering movie marathon back in the day. And then there was the Clay Aiken dude when... Yeah, I remember him. And that was because there was an episode of Bullshit where they were talking about cults and religion and shit. And they followed this group of like women that were like literally devoted to worshiping Clay Aiken. Like, cool. You know, and it was a whole... So I'm like, I remember that. I remember that bit as well. Yeah. Yeah. Good luck to the X Factor winners and the Pop Stars Canada winners.
I did not see a single one of them ever again in my life.
They had that band. It was called
yeah, that one.
Velvet. Something Velvet.
You might as well just be making shit up. Nobody knows. You could just say anything. You could just say anything.
Damn. Anyway. All right.
You know what's not a cursed competition? Fucking Penn and Teller's Fool Us.
Yeah.
You get a fucking Vegas show. You win that shit.
That's that. And you know what? Like, to fool them, you have to be really fucking good.
You gotta be really good.
Super duper duper good. You earn it.
Even if you don't fool them, you get to be on TV showing, look, I'm a fancy magician, and that's good. That's good for your career.
Yeah. I don't know. God, again, I don't know anything about any of the, once it turned into X Factor or whatever. Like, I the only thing I know is I heard Jabberwockies as like the dance group that like did dancing in Vegas, and there's that, but that's literally it.
Whatever you say, buddy.
Yeah.
I'll have to take your word for it.
Do Shark Tank winners like go on to like fucking? They get their bump, but like long term.
Yeah, they go on to either get rich or waste everyone's money
or die trying. I was gonna like has anything from Shark Tank actually blown up for reals?
Yeah, Scrub Daddy.
What?
You know Scrub Daddy, the fucking the sponge.
No.
That's okay. Well, that's a fucking. They made it big on that.
Okay, I don't even know what it is.
And Ring, you know the fucking.
Oh yeah, the doorbell.
So Ring actually denied the offer on Shark Tank.
Huh.
The offer on Shark Tank, they wanted to give him like they wanted a piece of the company. And like, nah, another buyer will give me more. And then they sold it to Amazon and made a $1 zillion.
Smart. Nice. Okay.
Oh, cursed contest! Fucking Pimp My Ride was like a straight up scam.
Well, that's not cursed. That's just illegal. Like, they just lied.
That was just a massive scam.
Yeah, I wouldn't even put that I wouldn't call that cursed. I would just say Pimp My Ride was just absolutely lying about what you were getting and what they were doing. And also they're insulting you and fucking putting, it's like, oh, you're fat.
What did you have to do with this? I don't know. I didn't see any of the cars. What are you fucking what?
Hey, you're a fatty. Let's put Skittles wrappers on the bottom of your car and stuff it under the seats.
Sick. Give me the Skittles.
To build a character up. Yeah, just empty some popcorn kernels everywhere.
Look, we filled your car up with so much shit it's no longer street legal. You can't drive it out of your driveway, idiot.
X to the Z. All right.
Got to walk away from that? Go, I don't know. I didn't even see the cars. That's fucking bullshit, Exhibit.
Dude, Ja Rule walked away. You think Exhibit's gonna be in fucking trouble?
Yeah, you're right.
Like, these bases are fucking covered, man. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Fucking Suge Knight. It took Suge Knight like 20 years and running over a guy in broad daylight in front of like 100 people to get Suge Knight.
Years later, after he got out, yes.
After all those other murders.
Yeah. No, Exhibit released Clack and then just danced away. And, like, the lawyers went, should we? No.
Nah.
No, let him go. Nah. He just fucking, yeah. All right. We'll call it there. Take it easy.
Right, everybody, you have a good week. Check out twitch.tv/WoollyVersus, twitch.tv/PatStaresAt. And later this week, I'm also going to probably doing more takes 2 with Paige over at twitch.tv/PeachSaliva. Have a good week, everybody.